Oh, one moment. Okay. I'm streaming. I'm gonna get up right quick. I didn't know it would start this quick. Oh well. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay. One moment. One moment. God damn it. I didn't know this shit would start so quick. I wasn't expecting it to start. I clicked the button on accident, I think, is what happened. Oh well. Um, we're back with another one. And I'm fighting some hard bosses still, so I think I will be listening to something in the background as I fight these bosses, because this shit is, you know, I'm gonna be cussing a lot at these bosses, so I'm gonna have to. I need something to balance that out. Um, so we'll listen to something, just like I did yesterday. You know, Netflix Witcher is dead. Yeah, I want to hear about this. Because fuck Netflix Witcher anyway. I only liked a little bit of the first season. Not necessarily that big of a fan of it. But it was decent enough, and then the second season was trash. So, yeah, the show was dead to me already. But now it's officially canceled after they got rid of Henry Cavill. Yeah, who cares anymore? They're gonna have Thor's brother and as his replacement, which is stupid. That won't work. But let's listen to this in the background.
It looks like it's over, man. So, guys, it's finally official. Netflix Witcher and the interconnected universe of shows they've been trying to get off the ground the past few
years. The animated Witcher movie, I thought it was garbage.
There's an animated movie?
Well, it's all dead, to say the least.
I didn't even
there
know
have been
about
no less than 4 major Netflix Witcher stories that have broke over the past several days, all of which we're going to cover today, with each one being slightly funnier than the last. But the only part you've maybe heard anyone talk about, the other stories kind of went under the radar, but this is the one that kicked everything off. Last week, Netflix made the announcement that the final 2 seasons of the main show would no longer be happening. That the 7-season plan the writers never stopped talking about is now getting thrown out, and what they've written is being cut down and filmed all at once, apparently, to be released as seasons 4 and 5. Believe it or not, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's arguably the smallest bit of news. But just for a little perspective as to how much of a mess that by itself already is,
yeah, I wonder why it was so good.
Factored in, the Netflix show is currently 2 full seasons into the main story from the books. Season 1 covers some of the standalone short stories, plus a bunch of Ciri and Yennefer fanfiction, but seasons 2 and 3 were supposed to have been adapting the main saga, the core books that all tell one amazing, unbroken story. In those 2 seasons,
so they're just gonna not do that.
Son of a bitch.
Though, in 2 and 3, they've only managed to get through 1 book. Just one, because they skipped one of the novels almost entirely. Season 2 was fully invented for the show, at least after the first episode.
Obvious.
I'm sure this won't surprise you, but Eskel being a weird perv who turns into fucking Groot and gets cut down by Geralt, that's a Netflix thing. As was Vesemir having severe brain damage and wanting to inject Ciri with Witcher mutations, and Yennefer losing her powers and deciding to sacrifice.
I'm really glad that I didn't watch the second season, because I watched that sounds so stupid. Like, I only watched the first season. I watched it twice. I watched it once. I think I watched it with like Izzy or something, and then after that I watched it with my mom. And I liked it. I thought the show was great.
Yeah, I watched
season. I genuinely
the first season,
like
and
2019. Season 2 was bad. It's the same thing I did with like Sword Art Online, where like everybody told me that after season 1 it was bad, so I just stopped watching it. Problem solved.
Theory to
Not necessarily.
and Anyway, the point is, after a full season of whatever it was they were doing there, season 3 did finally manage to get through one book.
There were no stakes
I mean, it
anymore.
did it poorly, but the bar is so low for the show, I'll give it credit anyway.
If they get
That
killed,
said, even if we give the writers the pass of having skipped over one novel entirely, plus huge sections of 2 of the others, which they did,
it wasn't
and even if
wasn't
we
as good as the
completely
first
ignore the
season.
8th book because it's not vital telling the story and it's way too late to include most of it anyway.
By the way, it's not a big deal if they diverge from the books. It's only a big deal if the divergence is bad.
The divergence is terrible.
Even if we give the show a pass for all of those things,
It wasn't
they
good
still have to
divergence.
somehow cover the 3 longest and by far the most complicated books in just 2 seasons now. And because the writers clearly thought their ideas were so much better than what was already written, they're also going to have to wrap up
It was
approximately
Hollywood trash.
42 storylines that the show
Hollywood
invented.
doesn't know
Like they
what's
made
good
Virgil
anymore.
a main
They don't have
character for
anybody.
no reason. The
They
same is
make
true of
Jews in
Francesca,
Hollywood.
who, my God, they butchered that character even though the actress is great, but that's not even to mention the 35 other characters that have no business still being in the story, yet are for reasons
Yeah, like that's the thing for me is like whenever I heard of The Witcher, it's like I'm like, okay, well, whenever I want to watch Geralt fight like a griffin
Monsters.
or like a ghost or something
Yeah.
like that, and then like maybe Geralt and Vesemir have to like team up.
Where is the Witchering going on? It's none of it. The show's about something else.
Like that'd be pretty cool. And like so they have to like
I
find
thought
out where
the
it
first
is
season was lacking a bit of that.
in the town.
It had more of it than
together.
the second season.
Like, cause that's what
That's for
I
sure.
was. That's all I wanted, really. That's it. That's all. That, like, what? Why couldn't we just? Why can't you just do that?
beyond my comprehension. And
Because that would be
I was telling
too
you guys,
simple.
Not that you didn't know this
It
already,
would be
but
too enjoyable
we are
too.
witnessing
We
history
don't want the
in
peasants to
making
enjoy
here.
shit.
We're all old and gray in 2075.
He's right about this. That this show fuck up will be historic. This is a historic level fuck up.
If on our fourth replay of The Witcher 7
Oh,
during
you
Eternity in Part 3,
motherfucking bitch.
Netflix Witcher will still be the premier example to bring up when it comes to how not.
I forgot I need to take the
because
ball
for
against
all of
Blessing.
the other book and game adaptations that have definitely been less than stellar lately,
Man, that's pretty bad, ain't it?
I forgot to take the ball to Kim's Blessing. I have Blessed House.
Are they making?
Just now remember.
Are they making a season 2 for Rings of Power? Yes. For who?
Yeah, who cares?
lately, this is the one that had everything going for it from the start. A lead actor who loved the role, a huge budget, all the goodwill you could ever ask for
Getting much
leading
better
into
on this
season 1, and of everything, which there's a lot more to say. What's most embarrassing is that the writers had a series of books that were
Hey, you
damn
take the
near
ball.
written for television. This isn't
My
Dune or
heart
even
was
Lord of the
more
Rings, where
more than
you
it
need
already
someone
is.
insanely creative and talented to bring it to the screen. No, the first several Witcher books, especially 1, 2, and 4, are structured just like a TV show. And what I find extremely funny is that where Henry Cavill chose to bow out at the end of season 3,
Yeah, I have this
that is
mask.
the
I
single
found it.
most inconvenient time in
I
any
found
story
gold
I can
mask.
think
I
of
found
to have
him
to
doing
change
that
lead
cool.
actors, because the season
Then I found
ends
a
where
mask
Geralt,
here.
Yennefer, and Ciri get split up, and for the rest of the story, the entire thing, that's the conflict, that's the reason you care. You want to see them survive and reunite, because their relationships with each other are so special in the books, yet in the show,
But it's a different guy.
we currently have is a Yennefer who just one season ago was going to have Ciri killed. Again,
Yeah,
a decision
she's
the
a
showrunners
completely
made of their own accord instead of the way
unlikable
their
character.
relationship should
What the fuck?
Yennefer is not likable
What the fuck?
in the show. Like, who gives up? You don't really give. Is she, like, they make her the most despicable person.
What is it? What's happening?
She leaves her lover for power.
How do you do that?
For no reason, Geralt is attracted to
have
her, and
blossomed
she's
throughout
shown
the entire
nothing.
season. And what we also have
So
is a brand new
they-
Geralt
to
who
give a
we've
reason
never
for why
seen
he's
on
attracted
screen
to her
with
in any
either
way.
of the other characters.
She's not-
Yet
so
they're
weird.
going to
She's
want
not
people
loving,
to care
she's
about
not
them reuniting.
There's
Listen,
nothing
I don't consider
compassionate
myself
about
a
her.
cynical person. Almost all of the content on this channel is
just very
positive, but
self-centered.
I make an exception for this show because it's taken
So,
something I love and am
where's
truly
the
passionate
appeal?
about and has turned it into
Why
a
should we
complete
give a
joke.
fuck
And
about
speaking
No, see, he's not
show.
like, he's not where I'm at with Lord of the Rings. You have to understand is that every video game in Rings of Power, this is the same as like stuff on DeviantArt. It's just fan fiction. This isn't the real show. It's not
Yeah,
the
it's
real
fan fiction.
series.
It's not the real
It's
show.
just some bullshit.
I mean, it's not the real
fan made up.
series. It's just trash.
You know,
the
like I
games
said,
are that
it's
way,
all
though.
fan-
They're
it's all
good.
fan fiction.
The games
I
are
don't
just
take
fan
this
fiction,
personally.
but they're
I don't
good.
get offended that Rings of Power is bad or The Witcher went off course because it's not real. Oh, it's bad? Okay, yeah, I'm just not gonna. It's not real.
Yeah, problem solved. Complete jokes. Let's move
Even
right on
if
to the next
something's
story from a
fanfiction,
few
it can
days
still
ago,
be good.
because we're just getting
But
started
the
here.
games are better.
You might have heard that around a year ago, although you probably didn't hear because no one on the planet was excited for this, but it was announced that Netflix had greenlit another
They can
Witcher
easily
spin-off,
fit into
which,
the book.
wait, I mean,
Those
Netflix
stories
has
I thought they
already
made
made
another one that was really bad. The only time I ever heard about it was the day it came out, and somebody said it was bad, and nobody watched it, and then I never heard about it ever again. The blood, yeah, it was like something blood, yeah.
Lit another Witcher spin-off sounds more like a threat than a headline. Blood Origin was their
Blood
lowest rated show
Origin.
of all time.
Yeah, spin-off. Witcher series.
I thought it was the lowest rated show of all time. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Reason someone thought it
I don't
would
know
be
how
a good
they
idea to give
can
the
go and
go-ahead
make a
to an even
Witcher
worse
spin-off.
idea than Blood Origin. A full show about the rats, who do appear in Season 3 very briefly. And if you don't know about the rats, no spoilers, but they are by far the most insufferable characters in all of the books. They're a group of irritating criminals who take Ciri in and do horrible things to her, and throughout the 3 books they appear in, they have exactly one good moment, and it's not something they do, it's something that's done to them. They exist in the books to serve a narrative purpose, which, hey, they definitely accomplish, but giving them a full spin-off seems like it must have been a dare. Like someone in the Netflix Witcher writing room said, alright, let's come up with the worst idea possible and see if we can get it greenlit. And for once they nailed the assignment, because ideas don't get worse than a full show about the rats. That's not even to mention
Made a
that,
full show
I don't mean
about
this in any personal way, but
the
who
rat
they handed
bastards.
this rat show to, the showrunner for this spin-off, was someone that had never written for a show before The Witcher.
Well, that's pretty good, right? I mean,
It
it's
failed
like,
up,
at that
huh?
point, I think that's kind of a good thing, because like that way it'll just die really fast and it'll be over. Right? It's like, okay, well, we've got to have this, we got to do this. Yeah, let's just.
They just sent this
You want to do it?
show
Yeah, sure.
out-
Where did you
out
work
to,
before?
like-
McDonald's? Okay, you're perfect. So you're gonna run this show now.
They sent it out
and
to
go ahead
fans.
and think about what we're gonna do, and whatever you want, we're gonna do
How
it.
did they think this would be successful?
Problem solved.
I don't think they were intending for it to be
Never,
successful.
no other credits, and
With
I mean
the
that's
decision
definitely a
they're making.
surefire recipe for
It
success
seems
right
like the
there.
better than we wanted.
Anyway, last April, filming kicked off for this show in South Africa. It was scheduled to be a 6-month shoot, yet kind of ominously, filming unceremoniously ended after under 2 months, leading to a lot of questions as to what exactly happened. Well, it's since come out that filming ended 4 entire months before it was supposed to because Netflix saw what they had already filmed and decided to pull the plug.
Hey, some babies deserve to be aborted. I think that's a good thing.
Wow.
That's a Netflix.
I don't like that analogy.
Yeah, they knew it. They saw it was bad, and they decided, you know what?
More than
Let's cut our losses and let's move on.
yeah, he did it again.
Get the
Mike.
coat hanger.
He's doing it more than usual.
Let's get rid
Fucking
of
cheating
this.
ass boss.
And push it down. Yeah, this is the way it is.
Reportedly, they had only filmed 1 or maybe
I got
2
too
of the 8
cleose.
episodes,
Shouldn't have done
and
that.
now, behind the scenes, months
Learning
and months,
to
and
dodge
months
the
later,
right.
they're figuring out, or maybe have figured out at this point, what to do with what they already filmed. According to Redanian Intelligence, who cover Netflix Witcher news and leaks, they have a flawless track record, and I'm hoping they find success with another series because they do a great job, but according to them, the footage may either end up being used in Season 4 as flashbacks, or Netflix may try to turn what they filmed
Just
into some
don't
sort of
even-
standalone
don't even
sequel,
release the
like
fourth
that
season. Who
upcoming
gives a
Witcher
fuck at this
anime
point?
that's apparently dropping later this year.
Just
And
write it off
don't
as a
worry,
tax.
there's news about
Right
that
off.
one too.
You know?
Before we move on though, I do need to take a quick second.
No one needs to see that trash.
I think we have to keep in mind that, like, a Witcher anime. Why do you
Witcher
think that's
anime would
gonna
be good.
Because it's animated. The reason
That could
why
work.
anime is good is because it's not made with the same, like, Western, like, culture, social commentary slop that we have. That's why people like anime. So if you do something like that, and it's just another
I mean, they have more
basically
tact with
show
how they
that people
deliver messages
hear,
in anime.
then
Most
it's
of
gonna
them,
be
some
the
of them
same thing.
really fail at it. They're not all winners, but a lot of them
Sponsor
are.
Factor, who at this point are just a channel staple, as they're the only meal delivery service you'll ever need, and they're what I use almost every
Fuck
single
about
week.
it.
I've been
Shitty
personally
delivery
ordering
service.
Factor of my own accord for the past 6 months at this point, no
Okay.
exaggeration, because doing
Okay,
so
Bill.
has solved every food problem I've ever
used to have those.
Ah, damn it.
had. Factor meals are fresh and never frozen, but by far what's most important to me is that every meal I've had has somehow been healthy, convenient, and really, really good, which I had thought was an impossible.
for like a split second, I thought this said something else. I was like, what the fuck?
Is it suggestive?
Bro,
combination.
Yeah,
what did it say?
There's no time to cook every day, or most days, really. And most convenient
look
foods
like?
are
What did you think it said?
extremely expensive, or just mind-numbingly boring. But Factor is none of those things, and it's truly changed my health for the better this past half year, as I'm eating what I should
I'll be the
every
judge of that,
single day
sir.
without burning hours I don't have cooking and cleaning. Factor delivers the meals to your front door each week, and when hungry, just pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes, or
Microwave? I love microwave.
and you're good to go.
That shit kills you.
Factor75.com or click the link below and use code NEON50 to get 50% off your first Factor box.
I have an oven that works, but I don't know how to do it. Back in the day, we only had this like little small convection oven, and that's why we cook everything out of it. So I only learned how to cook out of the ghetto oven, and I don't know how to use
Oh,
it.
son of a bitch.
That's
Who
why
doesn't
the
know how to
pizza
cook?
video that I did, I just put the little
Who's
oven
just
on
a
top
fraud?
of the big oven.
I'm
and I just
surprised
put the
he's still
pizza on the
alive.
low.
Plus, and this is new, 20% off your next order pizza.
Yeah.
That said, just know you won't be locked
Dude
in
doesn't
or
even
committed
eat
for
real
anything more
food.
past that first one, so I'm just personally recommending give that heavily discounted first box
Whatever.
a try, and you won't be disappointed. Okay, so I mentioned that upcoming Witcher anime, Sirens of the Deep, because there's also news related to both Sirens and the children's Witcher show Netflix announced. Yes, a Witcher show for the little ones,
A
because
Muppet Babies Witcher?
They're gonna turn this shit into Star Wars.
Good. Oh, Star Wars had better shit for kids. I'd rather watch the micro series Star Wars over.
Oh no, The Witcher is hugely
Live
and practically made for the under 10 crowd. I mean, my younger cousins asked
To be fair, I bet kids probably love this shit.
What
Well, like the reason why they love it is because it ain't made for them. It's actually good.
absolutely love playing with their Horse and Junior action figures and their Philip Eilhart dolls. I believe they have the variant with her eyes gouged out, but anyway, just for a little quick background on Sirens of the Deep, it's a full-length movie coming out later this year made by the same studio who did Nightmare of the Wolf, that Vesemir prequel from I think 3 years back that's literal garbage. Some really loved. I just thought it was okay for what it was. I never reviewed it because this channel didn't exist when it came.
It sucked.
Came out, but
Did it now?
Sirens of
I
the
never
Deep
saw
isn't
it.
a sequel to Nightmare. Instead,
I
it's
know it was already
one of
out.
the short stories that season 1 skipped over. A Little Sacrifice, which, no spoilers, A Little Sacrifice is a really laid back and pretty sad story about a girl, Essie Daven, or Poppet, who falls in love with Geralt, which he struggles with because of his feelings for Yennefer. And there's also a mermaid-related B-plot that's more of a background thing with thematic ties to the main story, but you can see from the trailer that Netflix have taken the references to an underwater war and have expanded it into something a lot bigger, which, I mean, whatever, at this point, I'm positive this movie is just going to gut the subtlety of the original, but I'm not going to judge the whole thing before it's out, mostly because production-wise, there's a lot
Quit
of different
spamming,
people involved
dude.
compared
Quit
to the main
spamming your
show.
goddamn
Plus, Nightmare
fire
of the Wolf was
loogies.
6 out of 10, okay? I mean,
son
compared
of
to
a
season
bitch.
2 of Blood Origin, it was basically Return of the King. Okay, actually,
That's actually probably a good point because, like, you know, he's watching it in the context of like the season 2 of the
Going
show
again,
is like
son of
really
a
bad.
bitch.
Like, I never watched that.
Damn
so,
it.
like, for me, I just like seen the
Okay, it's hard to
game,
know which one he's
and then
doing
I
before
watched season
I
1. It was
move
pretty good.
to the right spot.
And like, so I had no idea. You believe this shit was like 20 years ago?
We're getting to the second form
This
much
shit was
quicker
20
than
years ago.
go near that far.
I can believe
Speaking
it's
of
20 years
King,
ago, which is
the
an old
Doug Cockle
series.
is voicing Geralt in this movie, which any chance to hear him again as Geralt is a blessing.
Witcher 1 was a
He's
long
got
ass time ago.
standalone, he's great, and
That might have been 20 years ago
She's a
when
perfectly good actress, even if
it was the
Yennefer
Witcher
is
game.
the worst written
The
character in the
first
show.
one.
In my opinion, a lot of people take how poorly Yen is written in the show and then pin it on the actress,
she's-
but
she's
whatever,
terrible.
that's beside the point, because just a few days ago, it was reported that Sirens of the Deep marks the end of Netflix Witcher, even if it's not going to be the last thing to release. Again, according to Redeemed Intelligence, the main show is not only getting cut short, but Sirens of the Deep is the final Netflix Witcher spin-off. Everything else,
Bro, finishing it off with a cartoon? That's bad.
Planet Earth is having that children's show that they started developing in 2012, 3 whole years ago, is dead in the water. And after Sons of the Deep and those last 2 main show seasons that they're filming back to back, Netflix is apparently done with The Witcher. So for all 5 of you that were excited for Philippa and Ferb, or series Fairly Odd Parents, or Zoltan 101, or whatever that kids show is going to be, well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but it isn't happening. And that honestly has me excited. Not because I don't like what Netflix has done with The Witcher. I mean, I don't, but that's not why. I'm excited because now
I want it to be like, if I want to watch
else
a Witcher
try. And
animation, I want it to be
will have the step-by-step instructions on what not to do. Granted,
it's like, I don't know how so many of these people are
not
able to just create a show that's for the fans of the show.
Or Vinland Saga.
Or the game.
I heard that was
IP
good. I never watched it.
Why do you, how does this happen? Ego? I think it's ego too. I think it's that these people think that they can do it better than the guy that got paid millions of dollars just to use his books. It's like, do you ever think about that?
Yeah, we know more than the guy who wrote the damn
Netflix
source
to go
material.
ahead and make his book a movie. And this is the guy that probably got paid way more money than you did. And you think that you can do a better job than him? So why are they giving you any money? Why didn't they pay you for your books?
Well, sometimes, getting paid something doesn't necessarily mean you know better either, though.
They always do, yeah.
He is the creator of the series.
There is no guarantee the next attempt will be any good either, and it'll probably be the better part of a decade before any studio even wants to try and adapt the books again, but as long as CDPR's next games are good and The Witcher stays super relevant, I think it's only a matter of time before someone else gives it a try.
I think it's a guarantee that the new Witcher game will be good, because Cyberpunk 2077 was good. And it'll be off in such a terrible place.
It'll be better than Witcher 3,
when the
maybe.
game came out expected it to improve as much as it has.
I don't know if it'll be the best game, but it's not hard to be better than
Also, just a personal thing, I'm really looking forward in a couple of years to doing a huge post-mortem on this whole Netflix Witcher debacle and how / why it all went down the way it did. Not that they'd be excited to chat with me after my reviews of their show.
Yeah, I think they're going
to ask the showrunner not in an aggressive gotcha sort of way because I'm not that type of channel. But just as a Witcher fan, I'd love to hear the answers firsthand as to why certain decisions were made. I mean, I feel like in our hearts we all know the answer, but I'd love to hear some sort of explanation out loud because there hasn't been a single Netflix Witcher interview that wasn't a total puff piece, at least from what I've seen. Anyway, that's all for me today. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, as that really helps my content get out there, and feel free to subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. As of recording, we just hit 150K yesterday, which is pretty cool. Thanks to my channel's patrons, as always, for your support. Follow me on Twitter if you want to, and that's all. See ya.
No, maybe
what the fuck? I didn't swing again. Why did they make me fucking swing?
So guys, it's...
Yeah. And like, to be fair, didn't Sapkowski, I don't know how to pronounce his name, didn't he also say that he didn't like some of the things they did in the games too?
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't even. No, he never really paid attention to the games, really.
He did, yeah.
He didn't say much about them.
That's not a problem, though.
He didn't really
do you want to know why that's not a problem? He hated the games? Yeah. Do you want to know why it doesn't matter? Because they're good.
He didn't play the games.
That's the thing. And so, yeah, they diverge from the books, but they're good. And it's like,
assume they're bad.
People like them, and it's fine. And so,
never mind.
The problem is, again, not that you diverge from the source material, it's that you diverge from the source material and you shouldn't because you suck.
I mean, the games aren't adaptations of the books, though. It's not really like they diverge from the source material. They're not adaptations of the book. They're like in-between stories.
If that's true,
that are like fan fiction.
Yeah, I can see that.
The show is actually trying to adapt stories in the book, but it's fucking them up.
Lucas is the richest director in history by like 3 or 4x anybody else because he got a percentage of merchandise sales. That's the reason why. And who here had a lightsaber as a kid? Yeah, who here had one of those? Yeah, they offered it a percentage, he refused. It's his fault. It is, yeah.
I'm out. I'm out of mana.
Me too.
Damn it.
Largest individual Disney owner? Yeah. I mean, the guy's massive. But anyway,
God damn it.
Yeah, I think that The Witcher is like a really great example of what happens whenever you decide to ignore the fans, ignore the source material, and just push whatever you want for, whatever reason you have. I think it's a really great thing that the show failed, because it shows that that type of thinking and that type of decision making is not successful, and you shouldn't do it. So yeah, I think it's a great thing that the show failed. And
I'm glad.
It's a great data
glad
point.
It's gone.
I've
Where it's
never
going to go.
seen Neon Knights videos before. I'll give you guys a link. Make sure to give it a sub, give it a like as well. The Death Note movie is from WoW. I'm not going to watch a Death Note movie.
The Death Note movie was shit.
Yeah,
there was a Japanese one though. I don't know how good that
really
was.
is a failure.
But the one on Netflix
really
was
a
shit.
failure? I didn't even know. Wait, thank you for the rating.
It was stupid, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
I don't know what they were smoking when they
I
did
don't know
it.
anybody. Like, I heard a lot about season 2 being bad. I didn't even hear about season 3. Honestly, I didn't.
Like a lot of people just said the issue with the show or the movie Death Note is because of the race swapping. Like shit. If only the race swapping was what was wrong with that show. No, it was way more wrong with that show than the race of L or Light. They really just complained about L being black. They didn't care that Light was a white guy though. He's supposed to be Japanese. They didn't give a fuck if he's white. So double standard. But still, they were both. The show was just terrible. The movie was terrible, or whatever it was. I forgot what it was. But I watched a bit of it, and it was not good. Anyway. Oh, okay. Let's see what it goes to next. What's next on the
And they wanted to charge us.
Asus scammed us. Asmongold reacts to Gamer Nexus. Oh, Asus they're sucking now? I was gonna get a new Asus tower. Or build, really. Okay. Not a tower so much, like more of let's see what this is about.
$200 for that thing. Also, they never addressed the problem we sent it in for. Only that thing that they decided to fund.
Connector broken, also don't know what
That's right, no idea what that means. Everything, there were no broken connectors when we sent it in.
system.
Okay, I don't want to watch that. Gamer Nexus is better than Tim. What's his name? The Linus Tech Tips. That's his name. Linus Tech Tips is a big fucking shill. Terrible channel, terrible platform. I don't recommend it. He's just a bit. He'll say whatever he's paid to say. All right. Don't get any advice on PCs or any electronics from him. Okay, what else? Oh, we already listened to those yesterday, and it keeps getting worse. Why is Alana Pierce talking about it, this issue? She doesn't even work for Xbox. I don't want to hear her opinion. She's like a conflict of interest. She works for Sony. She's gonna make up some shit. I just want both of the consoles to go away, to be honest. Nintendo can go too, to be honest, because they kind of suck with their they don't like people even talking about their games, much less playing them. They kind of piss me off. So I'm tired of Nintendo. They're not the same Nintendo they used to be. The magic is gone. They're Nintendo in name only. They're not even making anything good upcoming. All of the shit that they're making is a bunch of re-releases, and they're making worse. Like the Paper Mario game, that's the upcoming game that's coming out. It's worse than the original. It ran at a great 60 frames per second on the GameCube, but apparently they cut it in half for the Switch version, it doesn't make any sense. I think Nintendo was better when Iwata was alive. I think after he passed, something was lost at Nintendo. They were way better with the water around. I don't know. Even Reggie might have had an effect. He doesn't work there anymore. He might have had a better effect on Nintendo, and that's why they're much worse right now. One second. What game? Okay, this is another thing called MiHoYo is afraid. They don't even use the name MiHoYo anymore. They call themselves HoYoverse. They changed their name. But MiHoYo is afraid the game will take over Genshin. What game? Let's see what the game is that they're talking about. Is it Wuthering Waves?
MiHoYo is afraid?
Is it about Wuthering Waves? Because that's the new game coming out pretty soon. That's like Genshin.
Of Wuthering Waves.
It is about Wuthering Waves. Okay, I knew it. Let's listen to it.
Absolutely giga nuclear catastrophic omega drama. Holy shit.
It's just like they were afraid about the other
There's no
games.
red emojis. There's no
Sure,
red button
I don't
emojis.
think they're really afraid. And they have Star Rail, which is also pretty popular.
Greetings, rovers.
I don't think they really care that much about Genshin having a challenger. They seem to be focusing more on Star Rail.
Today I received a screenshot on my Twitter from an unknown account. If this is true and undoctored information, this drama absolutely surpasses nuclear. We're talking full-blown giga-thermo-cat.
Did she just put a Stellar on him? I think I've seen this before. What the fuck? Wait. What the? Yeah, you played it. I forgot this happened.
A graphic nuclear drama. I'm actually kind of nervous writing the script and turning it into a video because I have a feeling we are about to open up an entire can of worms, and this is going to lead us down a rabbit hole.
Too loud?
And
I don't know. I gotta get something out of the freezer too.
So before I drop off the algorithm and an absolutely blacklist for every company,
Might as
I
well get
really
up while I
appreciate
do
if you
this.
guys
You shouldn't worry. At least he's not talking about Boeing.
drop me a like and follow me on my Twitch as I'll be doing a 24-hour stream on May 22nd for the Welcome
Yeah,
Voice
this is
series.
fine.
Today at around midnight, I received a
Yeah, this is
Twitter
an older video
notification
now,
from an
like
account
Boeing
called
stuff.
Leaker
What's Boeing talking about?
29000 who shared this image on my Twitter thread discussing the recent Robin drama.
By the way, I heard from somebody that I trust that they got the same information from a second person and that this was real. Take with that what you want, but I did actually hear this.
It looks to be a snippet of a contract from a company called Yomi Holic. Doing some research into this company, it seems like they are a third-party advertising agency working with over 400 plus companies. They offer collaboration marketing, offline advertising, and influencer marketing. While I can't say for sure if this is legitimate or not, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume.
I will say that a very strong bit of argumentation against this is the fact that where's MiHoYo here? Like, this is a list of some of their biggest partners, and MiHoYo isn't even going to be on this like top panel. CMGE. Oh, are they under CMGE?
I think this is a better build.
I didn't
I'll
know
be
that.
right back.
Let's give them the
I can
benefit
do more
of the
with this.
doubt and assume that this is a legitimate snippet of the contract that was offered to them.
Sure.
The contract states, the creator shall promptly notify Yomi Holic if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. Yomi Holic has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero or the content creator's
That is
reputation.
nuts.
The extract cooperation content will be
Oh
as
my
follows.
god.
The content creator commits to engaging in minor promotional activities such as retweeting Zenless Zone Zero's posts, sharing in-game screenshots, and so on, for each Zenless Zone Zero update and an
Zilla
important
Zone
festival.
Zero is the next game they're putting out.
Occasionally, the content creator may be requested to participate in major influencer campaigns by creating theme-specific videos, collaborating on creative projects, attending online
This is
events,
fine.
etc. Now, here's a very interesting part. Hoyoverse may use the content creators' videos for marketing purposes.
This actually isn't that weird at all. People ask me for this all the time. I look through contracts like this pretty regularly, and being able to use the content that you sponsor is actually a pretty regular
This is typical
commonality.
Sponsorship.
And for example, like I don't really want to get into like one specific, but there are some people who don't like having their likeness used beyond what the content is, and some people that are more okay with it. Sponsors ask me that all the time. Yeah, this is actually quite common. For free though? Well, we don't know whether it's for free. This is a small part of the contract. I mean, I don't know what all, like, we don't know what the context of this is.
I believe this is the first smoking gun in this discussion.
It's not.
Hoyoverse is directly named in this contract. Being named in the contract means they are somehow directly involved in either writing or approving this contract. The following documents shall be deemed to form and be read and construed as part of this agreement. For the purposes of interpretation, the priority of the documents shall be in accordance with the following sequence. The Zone Zero Content Creator Cooperation Agreement and its amendments, if any, the appendix, and any other documents forming part of the agreement. Now, those of you with keen eyes can tell already that there are some minor spelling mistakes and grammatical errors within this document, but I have a feeling
it's a Chinese company.
English is not the first
language. They're a Singaporean company. Like, I think it's a Singapore China. I forgot which one. Like, it's not, you know.
I mean, their new headquarters.
They probably should have not had that happen, and they should have had somebody who knew English to be able to write this, and it's still bad. But I don't think that necessarily hurts the validity of it. However, I find that, so if I look at this one right here, what do I find to be problematic about this? Actually, only the top one. I don't think anything else here is problematic whatsoever. So the reason why the top one is bad is because it goes outside of the scope of the sponsorship, and it's taking the autonomy away from the individual beyond what they're being paid for in order to do. But for example, like content creator commits to engaging, this is probably in the context of what this contract is for specifically. And this is also maybe requested to participate in major influencer campaigns. This is also probably in the context of a time frame that the content creator is being paid for. C, this is just simply usage of media rights so they can reuse the content creator's image and likeness in order to promote the stuff. And this down here is just basically ordering. Yeah, the top is the only thing that's bad. Everything else is fine. You keep saying probably? Well, yeah, of course I say probably. I'm saying probably because, like, that's true, probably. Like, I'm saying probably like 99% because I've read and signed a lot of these things. I know this. I feel like I have a pretty good perspective on this. However, it's not guaranteed. So yes, probably.
Damn it.
Now, those of you with keen eyes can tell already that there are some minor spelling mistakes and grammatical errors within this document,
English is not their first
I have a
language.
feeling this may be just a result of either poor translation or someone who received the leak of this translated it themselves, and there may be some oddities there. It's hard to say for certain. Sections A, B, and C in the latter portion of this document seem to be pretty boilerplate.
Yeah.
The content creator agrees to promote the game, participate in marketing campaigns, create videos, etc.
Yeah.
All standard things you would expect from a contract. Alright, so now we're going to start talking about the juicy bits of the contract. Section E.
But not locking down.
Alright, so let it be known, and I just want to make this very, very, very clear. I am in no way a lawyer, I have never been a lawyer, and I have never studied law. But as someone who has worked with contracts from my real-life work experience and worked with content creation before with contracts, I will attempt to offer my interpretation. Section E of the contract is outright requiring the creator who received this contract to promptly notify Yomiholic if any other gaming brand intends to sponsor their content. This statement has two major implications behind it. Alright, so firstly, any gaming, which can be extremely loosely interpreted. Most companies have some sort of tie to the gaming industry nowadays. Is Razer a gaming company? What about Logitech?
Kinda.
Hell, even what about gamer subs?
When they make gaming
a good lawyer could argue in court that these are gaming companies. They offer a sponsorship to the creator, and they need to be reported. So does this mean that any creator needs to report if they intend to or have already signed a contract? Or are they requiring any offer of sponsorship to be reported? To me, it sounds like the latter, which I think is absolutely insane. How in the world can a company worth their marbles suggest that a simple offer of a sponsorship need to be reported to them? Even if we went with the former interpretation,
I think that is not really the main problem that I would have with it. I think the main problem that I would have with it is that whenever you make contractors sign into effectively like what is exclusivity, like, oh, I will only promote your games, I think this is harmful for everyone. And I know that, like, so for an I think that probably for like at least some people in the community that are watching this, they're thinking, oh, why should I care about this? I'm not a content creator. I'm not taking these contracts. What's the point? How is this relevant to me? Well, I'll explain how. The reason why it's relevant to everybody is because what happens is that if contracts like this and behaviors like this become normalized into space, you're going to be receiving an increasingly less authentic view of games by different creators. And it's overreaching. Yes, it's a massive overreach.
I don't like that.
Because the reason why it's a big overreach is because it's beyond the scope of what the business is being done for.
I'm already skeptical
this
of a lot of
person is taking a contract to do something, and this goes beyond what this person is doing, and it's the entirety of their business rather than just simply their relationship with the company, right? It all becomes fake. And so you really do need to worry about and be afraid of this kind of stuff becoming more popular, because as it becomes more popular, I'll tell you, like at the bottom of this contract, there's probably a 5 or 6 digit amount of money that the person is going to be getting paid for doing this. And it might be easy to say, oh, well, I would turn this down because it's bad. But if you're getting paid $60,000 for this, and you know the amount of money you make every year is $50,000, you're probably going to take the offer. A lot of people would. And in the process of that, you're going to mislead and lie to people effectively, or at least give them an unbalanced perspective on what content is available, and even not show your viewers something that they could actually want to see in a lot of cases. So yeah, this is very, very unsettling, and it's a very bad thing.
Next line clearly states that Yomi Holic outright has full discretion to reject sponsorships that could be detrimental to Zenless Zone Zero. The key word to this insane statement is detrimental.
So what are the sponsors? They're talking about competing sponsorships, something like non-compete
in which Yomi Holic could go after the content creator for breach of contract.
You can't sponsor a game that might make Zenless Zone Zero look bad, like Wuthering Waves.
It's very unlikely that anything like that would happen. And also, it's not certain that
we don't really have that contract exactly.
So if Yomi Holic is a agency, effectively, or a middleman, they probably set up the contracts. It's not like MiHoYo writes the contract, and then they give it to Yomi Holic, and then they give the contract to those people. They're the ones, these guys are the ones that make the contract, right? So this could actually just be something that is existing in all of their default contracts, because like maybe they work with like a lot of different it's like whenever they're listing their different partners, we're at 558, all of these partners are Asian companies, right? NetEase, Yahoo Japan, CMGE, like this one I'm pretty sure is an American. And so this could just be normal language in their culture, and it's just unfamiliar with us because we don't have that here. So I think that there also could just be a case where this is simply something that happens categorically with all Yomi Holic contracts, and it doesn't have anything to do with MiHoYo. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that it's possible.
I've heard through the grapevine that large companies such as MiHoYo have clauses in their contract that content creators who breach contracts can receive fines of upwards of $500,000.
So the title is clickbait, because they're not really worried about Genshin. They're not worried about Sub-Zero,
to back it up.
which is not Genshin. It's just another game that
but honestly, I would not be surprised in the slightest.
For damages and stuff like that, I've never seen something like that, but it depends on what it is. It's leakers? Yeah, exactly. And like, I think actually in some cases that does make sense. So, for example, like let's say people give you, like you have to sign an NDA, and then you break the NDA and show people all the new stuff from a game before.
Oh, they're getting sponsored by people.
I think they should absolutely be able to sue.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Why they have to disclose that? Because that's a potential possibility.
It can be argued that the creator simply working with another game company, or even a company that is loosely related to gaming, could be applied. One could even argue that providing sponsored content from a game even outside of Zenless Zone Zero's genre could take the spotlight off of just Zenless Zone Zero.
Sure.
This would be considered a breach of contract. Alright, so let's think about this critically for a second. Zenless Zone Zero has a rumored release date of July 3rd.
Rumored by
What if
who?
the creator has a sponsor or wants to take a sponsor from Square Enix for the release of Final Fantasy XIV's expansion Dawn Trail, which comes out on July 2nd? This creator during the sponsor could take the spotlight over ZZZ and could be potentially stealing
it's on
some
there.
away from
Elden
the
Ring,
game,
the week of
which
Elden
would
Ring.
100% fall as detrimental.
That's pretty bad.
Detrimental could even be argued if the creator accepts a sponsorship from Logitech, who regularly sponsors esports events for games like Dota, Valorant, and Counter-Strike.
Well, none of the Mahoyo games are like esports games.
It would probably scare them into not doing it. Could they enforce this legally and actually get a judgment against it? Probably not with Logitech, in the case of Logitech, but it would probably scare people into not wanting to try it.
Because their logo is on other games? I could see this being considered a breach of contract. What about gamer subs? They're partnered with someone that MiHoYo outright hates and has blacklisted. Tectone. Would a creator lose out on the sponsor because they're directly affiliated with someone that regularly critiques their company?
Oh god.
I mean, even me posting this video is going to kill potential collaborations with creators that take contracts like this. There's obviously hundreds, if not even thousands of other implications surrounding this line in the contract.
Show me an example.
Alright, so let's play devil's advocate for a second.
I don't like
Those hypothetical situations wouldn't happen. Sure. Depending on the length of the
Prove that
contract,
this is
you
what's
could be stuck
happening.
with career-changing opportunities from other companies if Yomi decided to deny them.
It's probably like a 90-day. Like, this is probably like a 90 or 180 day. I would say probably 90-day.
It's just a clickbait video.
Usually something like this is about that.
Like, Tectone's not even a good example. Tectone's kind of
astronomical.
not trustworthy. I don't believe anything he says.
Anyone roped into this. While I tend to give the benefit of a doubt for things, we're talking about an
He
ad
creates a
agency.
lot of unnecessary drama.
Who is absolutely ruthless. They will protect their brand no matter what. Of course. I mean, hell, if the show Mad Men taught us
To be fair, I actually think that MiHoYo is probably one of the most hands-off companies in terms of
they don't
trying to
really
like
say
regulate what
things
people
themselves.
do.
Usually
They
people
even
in the
allow
community
people to sell fan art, and they explicitly state it.
He's
Whereas
saying the most
Nintendo, if
bullshit.
you do that, I mean, well,
I
you
tend to
know.
ignore the
And
community.
so I think in a lot of cases they're pretty reasonable, but it does seem like the relationships that they have with some content creators are pretty sus.
Like the content creators, I should say, not everyone in the
ad
community.
agencies are the absolute devil and are not to be trusted.
You know, a lot of the content creators, you
While
know,
I
can't really
understand
listen
wanting
to.
to protect brand
And
integrity
you got some
and
weirdos
avoid
on social
conflicts of
media
interest
too.
with creators.
They're
There's
part
a
of the
balance
community.
between protecting
These
your
not
brand
content
and
creators,
just
they're
fostering
on social media
collaboration with the
doing
creators that
stupid
you're working
shit.
with. Alright, so I know I've name dropped MiHoYo a few times during this conversation, despite the ad agency being a different entity. But for the slow ones, companies
It's an ad
approaching ad
agency.
agencies generally will set the terms and conditions of the contracts that are offered and has the final say on how the contracts are read. The ad agency is simply the one in charge of the paperwork, record keeping, and communication with the content creator. MiHoYo would have had to either directly sign off on the contract or flat out told them this clause needs to be in it.
He's right about that they would have had to be okay with the contract. That's actually very true. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, actually, no. No,
We
not
don't know.
necessarily.
We're just
Probably,
speculating,
but not
I guess.
necessarily. Because, for example, so this is how it works, right? is you have...
You're just jacking off in this video. That's what's
content
going
creator, ad agency... actually, let me just do it this way. This is the money.
Get back to me when you guys are sure. Okay?
And this is the ad agency. And this is the content creator, right? And so the ad agency gives the money
this video's
to...
stupid. I'm gonna click on another one after
the company gives the money to the ad agency.
I need some confirmation.
So they agree on terms. And then after that, the ad agency creates a contract with
the
the
video's
creators,
clickbait.
and then they agree on terms. But in
It's
a
not even
lot of
about
cases, these two things are not aware of each other. So the content creators don't know what the contract is that the ad agency has with the company, and the company might not always know exactly what the contract is that the ad agency has with the content creators. So this might not be true, but...
What else do we got? Skyrim, but Twitch chat voices all the NPCs. Oh, that's great. How does that work? Are they using like Microsoft voices or something? Maybe that's how it works. They're using text to speech. The importance of Mars in the Prothean ruins. They're talking about Mass Effect. Okay. Yeah, that Mass Effect 4 game is in development hell. I don't think it's ever really coming out. And they gotta make sure the next Dragon Age that's upcoming is gonna be good. If that shit ain't good, I think they're just gonna cancel Mass Effect 4 outright. BioWare might be another studio that's just dismantled. Like a lot of studios are being dismantled now. And that might happen to BioWare if the next Dragon Age is trash. Oh, they're talking about Mike Tyson is terrifying ahead of Jake Paul fight. Yeah. This fight, dude, it's gotta be rigged if Jake Paul wins. I just gotta call it. If Jake Paul wins this fight, it's rigged. Nothing but. He must have paid Tyson a lot of money to take a fall if that happens. And I don't think, like, Tyson, he's paying Tyson to not kill him. But I don't know if Tyson can hold back that much. Like, even when he's sparring, he be fucking people up. Like, you watch him sparring in the gym, dude, he be fucking people up still. He don't hold back. Yeah. Even Mike Tyson at his age, that's a mismatch, dude. Jake Paul is not, he don't got that dog in him like Mike Tyson does. That's not a good matchup. So he has to like either be paying him off to pull his punches or something. So I'm gonna listen to this stuff. It's a JRE clip. Joe Rogan.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
He almost like Tyson at 58, no, right? No, he was much slower. But George was always kind of slow. Mm-hmm. He just has thunderous power. He was never like a real fast guy.
Talking about George Foreman
or any of those other guys. He was just thunderous, ridiculous power.
Yeah, George Foreman was slow.
And I don't know the ins and outs of boxing.
Tyson was always slow.
Is this Logan Paul? Is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers,
them to take a fall,
or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters.
Most of those fights are big fights.
He knows how to fight. Like, it's not, nothing he's doing looks wrong.
He's
not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches.
He knows how to do Rocky
He's
choreography.
fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like, highly promotable, like, really good at selling fights, he'd be like, this kid's the future. He's really something special. And the fact that he's willing to fight Tyson, even if Tyson's 57, just the fact that he's willing to actually take a chance at Mike Tyson not being able to do what he used to do. Because that's what he's doing. The gamble is, like, there's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight? Yeah. That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight. Because that was Mike Tyson before he won the title. It was ABC Wild
quickest fight ever.
And Joe Frazier had been talking shit about Tyson, that he was in his prime, he beat Tyson. And so he had his son fight Tyson. And it was an execution. It was an execution.
Is that the one in Atlantic City where it lasted one round?
Yeah. Is that quick?
Because it's one of my favorite fights to watch Tyson. Because it's Tyson in his prime where he was fucking terrifying. He was so fast. And he would do angles and he was bobbing and weaving.
Yeah, he was fast as fuck.
And he was just coming at you.
You watch that dude training?
He was young. He was 20 years old at the time. He couldn't be stopped. No one had the solution. And I submit that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson that won the title against Trevor Berbick, the Mike Tyson that beat Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him. He didn't maintain that form, and he wound up losing to Buster Douglas, and I look at fighters when they're in their absolute prime, like what have you ever seen that was better than this? And with Mike Tyson, I've never seen anybody better. I've never seen any fighter, even Ali in his prime, even Ali when he was Cassius Clay. I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime. I think you can't maintain the kind of focus that was required to be this guy. Look at Marvis looks fucking terrifying.
Mike was a monster. He's right about that.
Because he kind of knows. I mean, Marvis was a good fighter. Marvis was a good fighter, but this is just a terrifying mismatch. Like if I was a Vegas odds maker, I would put this at 1,000,000 to 1. I'm like, he has to break his leg, like he has to fall down and twist an ankle, like otherwise so Tyson was 20 and Frazier was 25.
So do you think this is the last we see of a guy like a Tyson? Is there another Tyson out there, or is it?
They can always emerge.
No, that's always another one.
So this is the beginning of the fight. Look, he's just moving forward, and Frazier's just trying to just weave and find his openings.
Suggest that. Oh, no one can ever do what Tyson does.
He never gives you any time. He's always right in front of you. He's just measuring you, and it's just a matter of time.
They're putting a lot of Tysons on. That's what's going on. There's a lot of people who are better than Tyson right now in real life, but they're not putting them on TV.
Him away. It just puts him away. It's an execution. It was just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he is,
they're not putting him in big fights.
Yeah,
the greatest heavyweight ever. Like that Mike Tyson, those fights were. You wanted to see executions. You didn't think anybody was going to beat him. Everybody he fought looked like they were about to die when they were in that ring.
I don't think we see this again, Joe.
You never know.
It can happen. Jake Paul's favorite.
He's a favorite. Yeah. Well, he's 27 years old, and he's a
very
good boxer. He's a very good boxer. Like he's a legitimate professional boxer. He fought Tommy Fury.
I don't agree.
A legitimate professional boxer, a real good one. He's Tyson Fury's little brother.
But then I'm thinking a lot of those fights are just paid off.
Close decision.
It's like
but it was a good fight.
It's like what they were doing in
a good fighter. He can fight.
Yeah.
But if that Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it. So you have to say, how much has Mike Tyson lost from that 20-year-old guy in the
whiffing already? Just got here.
Years since then, which is crazy. He'll be 38 by the time they fight. He'll have turned 58 by the time they actually fight.
Yeah, but that's the best it gets, right?
The best it gets.
By 37 years, you got to feel like he's lost some, but
he hasn't lost everything. He has lost everything.
Yeah.
You see him hit those pads?
Absolutely.
He has not lost
everything. You watch him training?
Well, he's lost some, but
he's already showing that he's better than Jake Paul.
Like maybe just normal, right?
Yeah, 58.
He's still not normal, but he's still like a professional heavyweight boxer. He's still terrifying.
No, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying even coming off the best, I still think he wins.
Yeah.
Coming off.
It's hard to say because you never bet against a 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old.
What I have in my brain
but it's Jake Paul
is that
27-year-old.
It's also his mind.
He's gassing up Jake Paul
switched over to war. like he was doing this interview, and someone said to him, he goes, you look like you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing? He goes, I just eat raw meat. He goes, I eat raw meat. He goes, you're eating raw meat? He goes, yeah, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, because that's what I'm going to eat when I fight. I'm going to eat him. It's raw meat.
Yeah,
he's like, Jesus Christ. He's
fresh
in
meat.
Fucking mode. He's in that God
of War mode. He's in that Predator mode.
He's still got that in him, and I'm telling you, if you keep giving that guy hormones, and you keep giving that guy supplements, and he's constantly training his. Look at this.
What are you eating? Raw meat.
You don't need hormones to eat raw meat.
Are you swallowing it, or remember when you used to spit that stuff out? Yeah, I'm going to have to eat it now because my opponent's going to be raw meat. Maybe that's right. Do you
He don't look like he's using gear. Like,
he
don't look like he has gear.
He had a shirt on, right?
Yeah.
He was sweating so much he had to take the.
He took his shirt off, and they just put the microphone on his shoulder. Yeah. Bro, he's in savage mode right now. He's in savage mode. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
If I'm fighting this guy and I see he's eating raw meat, I call the fucking thing off.
It's all the experiences.
He's gonna eat his ear now. He already ate Holyfield's ear.
You have to.
He's gonna be eating Jake Paul ears
when a man has smashed men before. Just smashed men. Like when no one can stand in front of him. That is in his mind still. That's in there. There's a dark chamber in his mind that he can open up.
Yeah.
Jake Paul paid him for this fight.
The question is, can his body move along with it? But that part of his mind, like you're clearly seeing, he's terrifying when he's in the zone. I changed the shape of the table because of him. This table,
Tyson might throw the fight.
The table that was this size at
it
the
just seems
studio,
weird.
and at the new studio, I was like, maybe we'll make
Would
the
he do
table
that?
smaller. It'll be more intimate. It'll be closer to the guests. So we had Mike Tyson in when he was 300 pounds. And he was just eating and having fun and smoking weed. He goes, I don't even work out. He goes, if I work out, it'll excite myself. It'll excite my ego. And then I don't like that person. So he just decided that he was just going to be chill Mike Tyson. And then he got this offer to fight Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
So he gets in insane shape. And the next time I see him, the second podcast we do, Mike now weighs 230 pounds, and he's got these muscles in his forearms. So he's sitting there, and he's a different human. He's so intense that I was like, if this table was closer to him, I would be nervous. Like, I wouldn't be able to do my best job.
Yeah, you can't grapple him. I mean, he could try, but it's not going to end well.
This is the second podcast I do with Mike Tyson.
Joe said he can just handle anybody by grappling him. I don't know. You can't just grapple anybody.
That's a different person. It's a totally different person, right?
The whole time. I was still going close to the door. Hoping he was so intense.
He was so intense. And that was a fight.
Just so going to work on everybody.
He just decided, to have one more Legends fight. And he got, look at him. Dude, he's just...
What the hell?
You might punch it before you can get your arm over there.
Seriously, Mike.
Oh, you got both things playing at the same time. Hold on a second. You had animosity towards, so we could finally get your hands on him.
Hey, what does it mean, when a fighter gets you erect? What does that mean?
Huh?
It's a good question.
Gee.
It means you're getting excited.
Damn, dude.
So that's going through your mind right now.
Well, that's how I get when I was a kid. And sometimes I get the twinkle.
The twinkle.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you
Get the
reach
tangle.
a state as a human being, as a champion, as a ferocious fighter. You reach a state of ability and of accomplishment that very few humans will.
Damn
I don't know if you can hear him breathe.
He's breathing. It's like a lion.
When you're hitting the bag, when
You're a fucking tiger, dude.
because I'm firing up right now.
Tiger is a real hunter.
So when you do all this shit again, you're
Lion's
still
not even doesn't compare to a
gotta
tiger
be burning inside
when it comes
you
to
again.
hunting.
It's gotta be pretty wild.
I don't know.
Especially the male lions, they don't really hunt anyway.
It's wild, but I believe it's rightfully so to be that way. And I just know how to. I don't think I mastered, but I just know how to deal with it. I don't let it overwhelm me.
No, well, of course not. It's a strange conversation to have because he was like so
Oh,
focused
fuck this
and
guy.
so intense. It was almost hard pulling the conversation out of him.
At any time did you feel afraid?
I was afraid of the other guy.
Of course he is.
Kevin Hart said it best. He goes, it's like being a room with a lion.
Jamie Foxx told jokes like some lot of people.
Well, Kevin Hart's a bitch
anyway.
anyway. Kevin Hart's already.
And Jamie's got to play him in a movie, which has got to be terrifying. Like, don't piss that guy off.
Jamie Foxx is gonna play him.
Sorry, sir.
I guess it ain't gonna be any worse than Will Smith playing Holyfield.
I mean, it's brilliant.
I mean, not Holyfield, but Muhammad Ali.
Because, like, if he was going to fight anybody else, people would watch, but with the same amount of people watch, no.
Which is bad.
This is the one.
I think.
And this is the one where the old heads are all sitting around, like, going, I can't wait till he gets a hold of Mike Tyson.
You know, we could have done a good Muhammad Ali.
Old guys are, like, pulling for him, like, come on, Mike.
Terrence Howard. He would have been a better Muhammad Ali.
One more in you.
Well, I think we see a different Mike Tyson than we did when he fought Roy Jones, right?
I think the Roy Jones fight, they made an agreement not to punch in the head. I'm pretty sure. Because I watched that fight carefully, many times. And it never looked like he was targeting Roy's head. Which makes sense why Roy agreed to do the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they probably made an agreement. It would be like a real boxing match, but just don't knock me out. Because Roy's a smaller person, much smaller. Roy was at his very best, he was 168 pounds. And then when he was weighing 175 pounds, he didn't even have to cut weight. Roy famously played a basketball game, a full basketball game, the day of his fight.
That sounds like that one tennis player who
and then went and
did that
the face
before
off somebody
he challenged some female tennis players.
You know, that's how
And
good
he
Roy was
smoked
in
a
his prime.
cigar
Roy was 168 pounds in his
before
prime.
he did it too.
He wasn't Mike Tyson's size. Mike Tyson's fucking enormous. He's just a different mass. He's the width, the density. It's terrifying. And if they're older guys, I can imagine them making an agreement. Because if you watch the highlights, Mike never punches him in the face. And even if they do punch each other in the face, it seems like it's just like jabs.
So there was an agreement then.
It does, almost like sparring shots. It's not like anybody's like really like winding up, you know? But they're really like throwing everything at it.
This fight doesn't have a stipulation?
No, I do not believe that's the case. I think this fight is going to be a real full-bore 100% fight.
I think
it's not
it
even
does,
an exhibition.
because it's
counts as
Jake
a
Paul.
professional record, so it's a professional fight.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it 8 rounds?
I think he's gonna pull his punches.
Yeah. They made it 2-minute rounds because Tyson's old, and they were going to do 16-ounce gloves, but they're down to 14, I believe. Is that the case? I think they're 14-ounce gloves, which is not much bigger than a regular glove. You know, regular gloves 10 ounces in the heavyweight division, 6 ounces in lighter divisions. I think they use 8 in some divisions too. But most like big guys use 10-ounce gloves.
I'm dying too much.
I think I'm growing up.
Oh, it's on another video now.
This guy.
What's going on?
Physically,
Let me change
I
it.
feel better. Yeah, believe it or not, you know. I feel so strong.
Oh, this is called Mike Tyson's opponents before and after fighting. I don't know. Oh, let's listen to this video. It's about Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls. I
Me
love
too.
this thing more than Tom Brady loves his own son. If you're wondering why every YouTuber with a checkmark seems to eventually make a video about this thing, it's because even though we've all played the same
Well, Dark
game,
Souls has a
everyone
sentimental
walks
value
away
to me
with a
because I played it when I was
different story to
homeless.
tell. It's a deeply
First time I ever played it
experience where the
I was
hardest
homeless.
enemy you have to defeat in the game is yourself. And the camera. I've never seen a game so recommended by other people and so scheduled to addictive that it resembles a prescription. Most community members will even recommend it for a whole host
Played on my
of
laptop I
medical
had
details,
after a
and
temp
it
job,
makes
but then
sense. The gameplay of Dark Souls is a digital cold plunge, and its luring characters are more
I bought the
inspirational
laptop
than
after
Coggins
I did
podcast
some
was.
temp.
I was running by a graveyard. I was fat. And I ran by a graveyard, and I looked out there. I was fat. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man,
but its themes of overcoming adversity in the face of defeat go far beyond just its characters. On launch, the original Dark Souls came out of buttfuck nowhere with nothing to its name, in one of the most fragile states a video game can release in, only for it to become one of the most influential titles in the last 13 years of gaming. It created a genre, it created a culture, it created whole ass jobs for people to just talk about its story on the internet. It inspired hundreds of Souls-like games. Even some good ones. But despite all of its legacy, the Souls franchise wouldn't even exist if it weren't for Sony cock-watching the success of the Xbox 360 during the heat of the console wars and trying to rip off one of their best-selling games.
Skyrim?
Failed. We'll get to that in a second. But before we get into how this franchise almost didn't even exist and that Demon Souls actually wasn't created by Miyazaki at the start, I recently had surgery and I live in America. So... you already know it's sponsor time. Big thanks to Offer GX. I actually reached out to them for them to pay me for an ad slot because I don't know what you guys, but Chrome's been completely shitting itself lately. Ever since YouTube went the whole pay-to-win formula with premium, I feel like everything's been lagging out constantly, despite the fact that it takes more resources than After Effects. And I pay for premium. So I decided to try out Offer GX because all my YouTube buddies are using it and they make a lot of kind of mildly unfunny mid-tier jokes on Twitter. As a wireless consumer, that means something to me. I gotta say, I've been daily driving it for about a couple weeks now, and it's pretty great. I mean, like, it's a web browser, so, like, don't go fucking crazy. Or maybe you should.
No, I don't want Opera. It lags too much for me.
So let me tell you why. First off, it actually runs YouTube faster than Chrome with, like, a tenth of the resources, so it's fine nice to click a YouTube video without, like, post migrating. But that's just the start. Say you're someone on the spectrum and you're watching one of those 6-hour-long YouTube video essays in a title that you don't care about and will probably still watch twice. If you open up another tab while it's playing, that window will now show up anywhere on your desktop that you can resize and reposition. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Chrome doesn't do that. I don't know why. It gets even better. Opera has these things called mods, so like
I don't use Chrome, I just use a Chromium.
The browser with things like custom animations,
I don't know if Opera's a
backgrounds,
Chromium or not.
shaders, sounds that play whenever you open up those tabs or type. It's nice, but it's not the pipe sound effect. You can customize the stuff to your heart's content. You can even install a Dark Souls mod, because that's the theme of the video, and maybe life's not depressing enough for you. Opera is loaded with tons of other features too. They have all these app integrations with Discord and Twitter, and they also have this little AI assistant thing for all your quirky little AI needs, because it's 2024, everything needs that now. Also, every single plugin that works in Chrome also works in Opera, so the transition is super easy.
It's a Chromium.
Opera actually lets you limit CPU and RAM usage, which is crazy that other programs don't do this. This is like, Opera's fantastic. I'm telling you, Opera GX comes highly regarded, so don't be returned. So download today for free using the link down in the description. Thank you guys for being patient. Now that I have my medical bills paid,
he's not being sponsored by Brave, so he's going to pretend it doesn't exist.
I've been talking about this game ever since 2015. And to this day, it is still my second favorite experience I've ever had that involves this amount of dudes and women. The first being Dark Souls 3. But unlike that game,
what's the other one?
The entry point for many people in the series. The first Dark Souls was the one that originally popped my humanity on the Souls franchise. And ever since my first playthrough, I know I'd be stroking this thing off till the end of time. Man, this sure was not the case, and this runty little thing barely stumbled out into the consoles half finished and into the hands of basically no one. I know you may not remember it, but this hairline does not forget, okay? This game was not the instant classic we all thought it was. Which sounds insane to say given the way it's talked about, but in reality, most people didn't give a fuck about the Dark Souls franchise until 5 years after its initial release, once Bloodborne gave everyone
what are you talking about? That's a lie.
As someone who's played this game on PS3, Dark Souls really was the Demon Souls of Dark Souls when it came out. But even
Dark Souls was so popular that there was a petition to get it ported to PC and it worked. So he's full of shit.
I couldn't find it. So what made this game so special that it made everyone run out and not buy it until 5 years after its release?
Yeah, right, dude. He's high, dude.
To understand what was going on
no, that's when the remaster came out. That's not when it became popular. Are you stupid?
Welcome to the year 2011. Shit's bitchin'. The United States just took out Osama bin Laden, but that's not stopping the game industry from dropping bombs like Skyrim, the official release of Minecraft, Dark Souls,
I've talked about it before.
etc. However, over the last several years, there's been growing discomfort over the reduction in gaming difficulty, with many people placing the blame directly on casual players and the companies trying to cater to them. And while that's definitely a factor, in reality, our entire understanding of what a video game could be has radically changed over the course of the 2000s. Games are becoming longer with a heavier emphasis on story and narrative, where deaths play kind of an unnatural part of that experience. Health is not something that can regenerate. Hell, even the term game over feels like something your mom would say when describing the Nintendo Station 360. These aren't necessarily bad things per se, but for a lot of people, that sense of accomplishment that came from a solid challenge and a shared experience with friends had kind of evaporated. At the very same time, though, we saw a massive increase in the inclusion of difficulty sliders, which makes a lot of sense. Rarely does one size ever fit all, and every pussy's different. But some were implemented vastly better than others, sometimes acting as a band-aid for shitty development and lazy balancing. While it did give players the options, most people didn't even know what the options were. To this day, I still don't even know what easy, medium, or hard even translates to half the time. Does it change the number of enemies, the amount of health they have, their accuracy, the detection, the amount of items that drop, the puzzles? And if it does, by how much? How the fuck am I, a new player to a game, supposed to know what best suits the gameplay? I much prefer having competent devs kind of figure that out for me, or at least change in-game things to match what difficulty.
How are you talking about difficulty?
Honestly, a lot of games really benefit from this, but back then, people got super heated over this shit. As a result, this created fertile soil for a game that had greater difficulty to release in months of time. It found itself a niche player.
You can just you can make your own difficulty settings in these games. It's very easy.
Spank all the people in the zippers and whips. It isn't that much as painfully obvious. But it's really not the full picture. In fact, it's just the tip of the iceberg. For us to understand where this game is even coming from, we have to go all the way back to the start of the 7th generation of console wars, back in 2000. It all starts with this one game called Demon's Souls. Now, stop.
Yeah, that's where it started.
On YouTube gets this wrong. See, most people think that the director of the Soul series, Miyazaki, just decided one day to create Demon's Souls.
No one thinks that. You just made that up.
The game was already being developed before he even entered the picture while he was playing.
I thought he created the shit.
The real story of Demon's Souls starts with the release of the Xbox 360. And it is killing sound.
Who ever said that?
When developing the 360, Microsoft made the decision to speed
up
the creation of the console, and while giving a pretty nasty case of ringworm, it ended up beating Sony to market by a whole year, which was a huge blow to their finances. After all, you're more likely to buy the console that your friends already own, and that's especially true with the way they were pushing Xbox Live. And if that wasn't enough, the console was also half the price of the PS3 whenever that came out. Keep in mind, we were still for the most part paying for music back then. Money was tight, people typically only bought one console, and yellow card CDs aren't going to pay for themselves. By the time the PS3 made its way to market, it had already priced itself out of the hands of many potential buyers. And it didn't help that it also had no games on launch. Shocker.
Pretty
stupid. Early on, Sony is doing everything in their power to increase their market share, so they start spying on Microsoft for some ideas. One franchise in particular catches their eye, which goes by the name of the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah,
they see that Oblivion is kicking ass and taking names, and they want a piece of that open-world action RPG shitty-ass AI market share.
Which Demon's Souls and Dark Souls were not. But they were good on their own right.
So they start shopping around and search for some jolly cooperation with the studio that can create something similar when they spot a medieval dark fantasy series called Kingsfield by FromSoft. So they hit them up, they sold them a crisp $20
Kingsfield was like the
Elder Scrolls, actually. Oblivion. So they shake hands and begin to create their own version of the Elder Scrolls. They start building this thing in about a year or two after the development. So congratulations, it's a piece of shit. It's so bad they can't even get their prototypes to run. Hey, FromSoft, ever happened to that Oblivion clone that we commissioned for you guys? That was supposed to be pushing the boundaries of what video games can physically do in this day and age?
I'm too close.
Sir, we're the studio that made this.
Yeah, it doesn't look anything like Skyrim now, does it? It looks better.
Yeah, that's our bad. It's so hopeless that Sony and FromSoft just
in retrospect, Skyrim is way more buggy than Demon's Souls.
Anyway, so it worked out for them.
You would want that
this guy named Miyazaki, who takes one look at the wreckage and sees the opportunity of a lifetime. So he asks around to see if he can take point on the game and lead it into a different direction and actually turn this thing into something marketable. The beauty part is, though, even though he's never done something like this, if the project fails, no one gives a fuck. It's the perfect environment for him to spitball ideas with absolutely nothing to lose.
I guess Elden Ring is more like Skyrim than any of those games.
Opposite direction. He wanted to recreate
pretty much is a Skyrim.
A foreign world where you feel cautious with every step you take. take and create an action RPG that didn't rely on simple quest completion as the reward.
But unlike Skyrim, all the shit you can see in the background in this game, you can actually travel to.
In order to overcome challenges by making the
Todd
game
Howard lied about
punishing,
for
placing the
Skyrim.
brunt of the responsibility on the player's skill itself instead of just artificial difficulty. So when you die in the game, you don't think it's just because the game is poorly designed and unjust. Rather, I screwed up because I'm a dumbass and I need to be more careful. This turned death into a very teachable moment for the player. Something you really want to avoid doing because it halves your fucking health. Harbor Fair might ask. Miyazaki definitely went
Oh my god, dude, you shitting me,
because when
dude?
it came time for him to represent the game to Sony executives, he
Are
actually
you
had to hide the
bullshitting
fact that
me?
when you die, you lose half your health. And he was actually legitimately worried that he had made the game too hard once they had finally baked the whole thing together. But oops, too late.
Come
Now
with the
testing it
first.
out. They finally released it at the Tokyo Game Show, and people just kind of hate it. In one of the most historical moments of the franchise, the Sony executive even went on record after playing it and said, "This is an unbelievably bad game." And to his credit,
Yeah, I
something
remember that.
everyone says when they try to
I
sell
mean, I
games
remember
out the
reading
first
it.
time. It's just, you gotta get it out of your system. We'll get back to this. But the president is so ticked off by the game that he doesn't even let them release it outside of the country. It finally launches
have a big
officially in
Atlas
Japan,
to
and it just completely tanks, which always seems to be the case no matter what game I talk about on this channel. I swear, those motherfuckers only play like Pokemon and Pachinko. But people start importing the game to the West, and the sales numbers grow to about 100,000. Nothing
Thanks to
huge here, but
Atlas.
it's much
Atlas
better than
is
20K.
goated.
Pretty good for word of mouth.
Atlas is an underrated
and people
company.
start asking for an official release in the States, so Atlas, yes,
Yep.
that Atlas,
Based Atlas.
rolled the dice on it and decided
Doing
to
it
import the
again.
thing officially into the U.S. And sales ramped
They're
up.
responsible
Over
for
this
all
year,
the
it was going to
bangers.
sell 1 million copies, thanks in part to GameSpot elevating it to Game of the Year, which was an incredibly bold move at the time. There was a time period before game journalism turned into game journalism.
GameSpot's 2009 Game of the Year is Shitty USB Mic, Demon Souls.
Good. It won Game of the Year. See?
And then there's
That's
all
good.
the dudes waiting there for you hard. And it just makes you feel this camaraderie even though you can't actually them.
Shut up, bitch.
Here's the crazy part of all this. Miyazaki doesn't know that. The sales of Demon Souls didn't pick up until a whole year after he was already developing Dark Souls. The price stat on this guy is like insane.
He just didn't stop, dude. He's like, I gotta cook.
Was a failure.
It's time to cook, Jesse.
He knows what he needs to do this time around to perfect his formula. And once they get word of the cult following growing in the West, these guys go full steam ahead.
Back with Dark Souls. Let's see what punishment they're dishing out.
God, why are we whiffing? We can't be whiffing in the second form. That's bad. Eat it, bitch.
This time around,
Oh, okay,
Miyazaki
this is
has
fun.
unhooked the gloves and is working one-on-one with every single developer. No creative managers, no micromanagers. This is some organic-ass farm-to-table development. He went ahead and named every single character, boss, enemy in the game, as well as every single line of text that appears, including menus. This guy knows exactly what he wants. However,
Get
it
up,
isn't just
get that
his
minty
vision. He
freshness.
explicitly instructs his artists to always add their
What
own
the
flair and
fuck?
touches to whatever designs they're working on.
The game didn't let me fucking dodge.
It's even reported that he
Look how good we did,
philosophized
though.
with his team
Yeah,
about
he
all
was
the
almost
esoteric
there.
concepts of the game and how they all make sense in
That's
the context
bullshit.
of the world they are continually writing and rebuilding. The reason he's doing this is that it's creating basically a bunch of little mini Miyazakis that are all on the same exact page as him during development. That's why he was so confident by letting the
cool.
development of Dark Souls 2 go to like other members of his staff, because he wanted to see
Yeah,
what
but
the series
Dark
was
Souls
going
2 is
to without
not
it being
like
limited to
anything he
him.
made.
Although that kind of had its own developmental hell, and they ended up actually firing one of the directors, but that's a different. That's a
Yeah,
whole video.
Yui was not the original
Miyazaki's
director.
working
They
on all the
fired the
details.
original
When
guy.
ding, 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 they're into a problem, and it's pencils down, you gotta turn your shit. And it's not finished. Not even close. So
Yui kind of came as the cleanup
Hope you get a few extra points in. That's why there's areas in the second half of the game that feel kind of content aware filled. Although maybe one of
Him,
those
he's sliding off of
about
this
a 2-year
motherfucker like
span.
Teflon.
Take it with a grain of salt. There's actually one final problem that they're running into now, and that's they don't have a name for the game. Sony still technically owns the rights to Demon Souls, and they can't use that. So this fucking genius decides to name the game
They
Dark
published the
Race.
game, so they couldn't use
Like,
the
dog, how
Sony
do you
name.
not? Like that's already a. They're in the game.
Well, they didn't really
so he tries to
publish it.
settle on a name by calling it Dark Rain, which I think is fine, but
Atlas really
people around
published
are saying
it,
that's
at least in the
illegal
States.
butthole, so
I guess it's
so
still
probably
stuck
Dark for the time being.
for the
It makes its first public appearance at Tokyo Game Show
Japanese
once again
side.
under that same name, only for it to get quickly overshadowed by demos of Devil May Cry and The Last Guardian. The game finally launches globally, in Demon Souls
Last
fans
Guardian
are
was
stoked
not
on.
it.
Weirdly
It's
enough,
a nice
critics actually
concept,
received it quite well. Its
but
level design and
I'd rather
satisfying
play
combat
Dark
earned
Souls
it high
than that.
marks for being quite different than the grain of current releases at the time. Branding it with that notorious hard but fair
It's a very
reputation.
pretty,
But that reputation
cute,
only applied to the
sympathetic
people
game.
that actually saw the game
But it's
through.
not really
For everyone else that played it, the game was notoriously hard and bullshit and kind of ugly and makes no fucking sense. And one of those hitboxes, and I swear I rolled that. I fucking rolled that. Only the first half of that hard
I
but fair
swore I
reputation
fucking
seemed
rolled.
to stick to its branding, coming across
Not
as more
fucking
of a
died.
gimmick to uninformed players. To the point where they even branded the DLC of the game
Yeah, they don't give a fuck what
prepared
you
to
do.
lean into that word of mouth, because at the time it was the only thing that really had going for them in terms of organic
Says, fuck
marketing.
you.
But aside from that niche of cult followers from Demon Souls, the real reason Dark Souls didn't pick up into an instant hood classic wasn't because the people that played it were getting
What the
pissed.
fuck?
It's
You
because
should be staggered, motherfucker.
playing it at all. See, whenever a game is shown off through trailers or advertisements, its ultimate goal is to convey to you an experience. That's where the value is to a player. Turns out, it's really fucking hard to do that if your game is unsexy. And Dark Souls had some pretty saggy-ass granny titties upon release. Around this time, games like Assassin's Creed, Devil May Cry, God of War all had not only phenomenal experiences, but they translated
Devil May
visually
Cry
to look
was
like
good.
fun as shit games on their own. Watching Kratos swing around the blades of Olympus, it just makes every
I gotta
game
say, I like the
look at it
old
and just say,
God of
hell
Wars
yeah.
compared to the
That's
newer
what you
ones.
want from your games.
They were
For
much
example,
better.
I personally have never pulled a fire alarm, but do you think that's ever stopped me from fantasizing about it every single time I walk into a room and see one? No, I mean, they're practically begging for it.
What the hell are you talking about?
Look what it's wearing. Same
Fucking
principle applies
degenerate.
here. Now, take that same logic and apply it to Dark Souls, and watching some tanky dude fat rolling only to eat shit later slowly earn the right to get another hit is not screaming satisfying achievement. Not to say it's not there, but its gameplay doesn't sell itself anywhere near as well as the other games in the franchise. Like, this is literally the gameplay footage that IGN showed when it was making its debut of the game to millions of people across the world.
Have played Demon Souls a lot, and now you move on to Dark Souls. There won't be a connection, even with the online.
It's just not sexy, and this is no surprise to the developers. Even Miyazaki
It's
admitted
sexy
this
now.
after he released a Demon Souls at Tokyo Game Show, saying, quote, "You can't possibly understand its approach in 5 minutes." But aside from the gameplay, the actual graphics of the game aren't doing it any favors either. I personally love them. I think it rips. Sue me. I know it's nostalgia, the same way I look at like old PS2 games or something. I think it's beautiful.
I just
But let's
pressed
be real,
dodge
it's
before
2011 now. This console
backing
came
up
out in
and getting
2006. Graphics have come a long ways, and we're actually at the
That's
end
really
of the console
bad.
life cycle here. And this thing looks like
That's
some
scary.
Call of Duty 3 shit. The standards have risen since then, and while graphics aren't everything, they're not nothing. After all, half the music I listen to on YouTube is solely determined by the thumbnail alone. I have zero clue
Well,
what
that's
low
stupid.
poly drum and bass
Music
sounds like,
has
but
nothing to do with
for some
appearance.
reason, this picture kind of tells me. Especially given that just a year prior, God of War released in 2010, which completely redefined what people expect graphically out of the system, and that game ran at double the frame rate of Dark Souls, which would barely hit 30 on a good day. I distinctly remember Blighttown running at a peanut buttery, chunky, smooth 15 frames per second. A lot of areas of this game would give it
Then
an
the
FPS
remaster
that would make
fixed
Ocarina
those
of
fixed on
Time fucking
PC.
e-sport by
The
comparison.
mods on
Which is
PC
even wilder
fixed
when
that
you
issue
consider that the thing
before
that's
the
making your
remaster.
system chug looks like that. The game suffered major performance difficulties, and that's without mentioning the load times, which after every death would be anywhere between 3 to 5 business days. These are the more cosmetic aspects of Dark Souls that made it difficult for new players to stomach. But upon release, the game was very different than the household prepare to die edition we've all grown to love. The original Dark Souls gave out a fraction of the souls upon killing bosses, making leveling significantly harder. Enemy AI would aggro way further out, and even close the doors behind you in tight spaces. Curses, which have your health, could stack, meaning you could permanently divide your health in half each time. Just some brutal
I didn't know
fun
curses
shit.
stack.
This one guy apparently made a video documenting even more of the changes. It's a great watch. I don't want to steal this thunder. Go watch it. But for all people that managed to get past those hurdles, for most people, the hardest thing was that there were just no resources to understand what any of this stuff meant in the game. When taking your first look at the menu, and I don't know if I'm being
So
great
there
about
was some
this, I don't know what
translation
canon
problems.
means. Not quite sure what
So some
common
things
does.
are just translated wrong.
To this day, I still don't fully
People
grasp
back to
how the
college.
upgrade system works, and people are still finding out hidden mechanics within the game like 10 years later. Many veterans of the series will actually encourage new players to go in completely blind, and I think it's kind of a dickhead mentality. While I think people should avoid spoilers, I think every copy of the game should come with at least 3 to 4 older brothers that can educate you on just some of the more hidden mechanics of the game. Like the carry weight, for example, which can completely alter the entire fundamental way the game is played, and it's never mentioned at all once. Thanks, game.
My brother actually recommended me Dark Souls, so not for him, I probably would have never played it.
Caught on to the mainstream at the start.
He told me in the
very things
question
that held back initially, but the very same things that led to its explosion years later.
A long time before I actually played
the
it.
game's baffling amount of just not giving a fuck and leaving the
I just
players
never
to
did
their own
it.
devices.
I never heard of this game. I guess I'll get around to it at some point.
History of gaming. Because while Dark Souls may have some of the most annoying player-hating mechanics,
And eventually I did.
it's so good, guys. It's so good. It still understands that the most important thing at the end of the day is the experience. I was hanging out with my boy Internet Pitstop while you were nerding out about the Dark Souls games when he brought a pretty interesting article to my attention. Miyazaki has had his works compared to the Zelda franchise numerous times, and they were such a huge inspiration for him when he was in school.
Yeah,
he was asked
I always thought his games were like how Zelda should have evolved.
Deserving to be mentioned in the same breath as Zelda.
In Castlevania
In that very
as
same
well.
article, he makes the distinction that in Zelda games, you're always
Jesus
guided
Christ.
along an epic journey that's laid out before you as the player. But in Dark Souls, you get lost. I can't think of a better way to describe this overall series. At the time, Dark Souls did something that no other game.
So it kind of makes sense that they kind of borrow from Breath of the Wild later with this game.
Let the player get completely lost with minimal direction. Allowing the
I think
player
this
to
does
guide
the Breath of the
solely
Wild
by their own
system and
curiosity.
everything.
It's reflected in every aspect of this game. Upon booting the game up for the first time, you might be surprised that regardless of its reputation, there's no emergency lights or bells or whistles or a way to sign up on your rights to a save point. Instead, you're greeted with some underwater ambience while you spend an hour customizing a character that you'll probably never see again in the game. The actual atmosphere of Dark Souls runs in stark contrast to its obnoxious reputation, giving it this kind of fairy tale, dreamlike, ketamine-filled aesthetic that runs through every corner of this game.
Oh shit. Who put this vent in my Estus? I'm so lit, I'm hearing the character creation music playing again.
It's a game that doesn't even have background music for half the time, letting you just bask in its atmosphere. Dark Souls is very quiet in its approach. Its deliberate lack of music entrusts the player to leave
there's
the
music
world's
when you're fighting the
interpretation
boss.
solely to your discretion.
Like this.
A theme that runs through every vein of its gameplay, storytelling. Who gives a shit? Why am I telling you this? Because in Dark Souls, you are rarely encouraged on how to feel, what to think, or what to make of anything in the world. Whenever you are told something, there's typically a counter to it that's right around the corner, resulting in your actions and experiences feeling far more authentic and genuine. This is probably one of the core elements that makes a Dark Souls game Dark Souls. The game treats you like an adult. It's allowing you to miss out on tons of great content and experience frustration. In exchange, you get to feel authentic reward and discovery whenever you do accomplish something in the game. Now the question remains how much frustration should actually be there to give you that authentic feeling of reward, because in this game it's a little bit off kilter. There are areas that don't feel like much trouble. There are things that feel so incredibly bad shit retarded that why would they ever leave that in? No good game designer would put that there intentionally. Yeah, here it is. But despite some of its annoying runbacks and some unrefined areas, the sheer volume and freedom afforded to the player means that you're the only thing holding yourself back. Aside from
I might just go fight with
the
them.
only thing that's restricting your discovery is your own perception and desire to explore. Because in Dark Souls, you're supposed to play the out of bounds, and the invisible walls are only there to help you explore further. Because in this game, if you can see it, you can probably go there. Thanks in no small part due to its work.
Yeah, you can go there. That's true with Souls. Unlike
As all the Souls
Skyrim.
games, the original is the only title to feature a one-world open linear map design. For the most part.
It wasn't really
The entire
open,
world snakes through
but
itself,
it's just-
of castles, forests, ruins, Jewish tunnels, and caves, all connected
It's not an
through
open
secret
world,
passages that
really,
lead back
but
around
it's
to
just
previously found checkpoints. It's an impressive
The
addition
map
to
was
the
very
game that gives you that feeling of, oh, actually, know where I am after not knowing where you are for 4 hours,
Knowing where you
I'll
are.
forget again. But I never really gave that much of a shit about it. I still feel like it baits out a lot of misplaced praise for what actually makes the level design so fantastic. I've seen plenty of interconnected worlds done in many other games, and they're not talked about nearly as much as Dark Souls 1. Because at the end of the day, it matters what's in the game world itself that makes it noteworthy. I look at the interconnected worlds the same way I would like a nice glass or a fancy straw. It's a fun addition, but it all depends on what I'm drinking that's going to keep me slurping. In Dark Souls, the looping world isn't what's inspiring me to adventure. It's the dreamlike environments themselves and all the extra content hidden away in them. It's the fact that I can do things out of order. It's the fact that I can miss double-digit hours of content because I might have missed a hidden path behind not one, but 2 invisible walls, only to wind up at some of the coolest areas in the game. It's the fact that every
Why did
corner
I
of this
swing
world feels
twice?
like a destination,
Only
deliberately
press the
placed
button
with
once.
intention, which rewards keen observation. It's the reason people see try jumping near a cliff surrounded by 10 bloodstains and still try jumping. Because sometimes try jumping gets you something.
Sometimes, yeah. That's
The
true.
world is constantly teasing you to think outside the box and test its own boundaries. There is a great satisfaction to finding those looping
You did it more
shortcuts,
than
and the
you
lack of
usually
loading
do.
screens does help immersion.
Son of a
But I don't see why
bitch.
that satisfaction can't be replaced with the portal or just an easier means of warping. And the lack of having to warp at the start of the game does rain on my parade a bit, knowing I still have to backtrack for 5 minutes, even with the shortcut unlocked. Some people say it encourages exploration, but I found the opposite to be true because I didn't want to get stuck resting at a bonfire that would force me to climb my way
that
back
shit
the
would
way I
just
came.
drag me right into the lab.
The world design is still incredibly well thought out. Every step you take in this game makes you think twice about where you're
Okay,
going.
we're gonna try something else. We need to change the scenery. I've been fighting this motherfucker for over an hour.
What's even more impressive, though, is that searching through the world, you won't find just simple upgraded weapons
Dude,
with
this one
rare,
bugs.
epic, or legendary statuses as you progress.
He
Instead,
wants
each
to be a
triangle,
bitch.
armor, each sword, shield, and item come with a name
So we're
and
gonna let him.
story. Even the most mundane objects reveal something about the person carrying it, their true intentions, ulterior motives, offering insights about the area itself that tell the true story of what's really going on in this world.
Where is
The best part is it allows one of the heaviest stories that exists in gaming to be completely non-intrusive. Allowing me to just sit back and roleplay as a illiterate Neanderthal who's not too educated in the fine arts of delayed gratification.
I'm gonna get rid of this
Thankfully,
one
people much smarter than
interloper.
I have pieced the story
Who's
together
annoying.
and are still working on it to this day, leaving me to just sit back to enjoy the game. Without going into super specifics, because I
This
already
game looks
know that
really
you know how
beautiful
Souls
on my
games work,
side. Just gotta
except for,
say,
like, two of
I
you.
hope the stream is doing it justice.
Oh, Dad.
But it looks really good on my
mechanics of
side.
the Dark Souls games all exist within a vacuum outside of the others, with their own sets
I'll
of
leave
rules
them
and
alone.
logic. Dark Souls 1 takes a slower, almost more cerebral approach, where player actions are much more of a long-term commitment in terms of time and stamina.
Leave me alone,
Some of these
bitch.
windups come with like a 30-year mortgage. Unlike Dark Souls 3, shields actually work, armor actually matters, and spamming rolls will get you killed.
Oh,
more
really?
often than
I
not.
never used
If Dark
shields in
Souls
Dark
3
Souls
is
3, so I
Dark
don't know
Souls
if
1
they don't work or not.
Where DS3
But he's
felt
saying
more
they don't.
rhythmic, rewarding player for their reaction time, the tempo of DS1 almost feels like turn-based in
Shields are
comparison.
for
The players in each
pussies,
game
so I
most
don't
likely
use
hate
them.
the combat of the
No.
other until they can get acclimated.
They're
to it.
fine.
Although DS1
I just-
probably
it's
offers
not
the
my
most
style.
features and variety in its combat of the trio. Since you weren't forced to just twink around rolling 24/7,
Yeah, you
doing
got an
things like
invader
two-handing
coming
your
with
weapon as a
eight
strength
dogs
build
by
would
me.
massively
Fuck
increase your
you.
damage output. You can be a
Fuck
ninja just as much as you want to be a tank, which is something that wouldn't be rewarded as much in later games. That and the magic empowerment in the game was completely
Dude,
busted too,
get
so
the
you had a
fuck
ton
out
of
of
different viable options to play this game however you want. Even though it feels clunky as shit, the fact that you can play this game completely out of order and with so many different player styles,
Oh,
gave it
she
a
one-shot me.
replayability
Great.
that the
Great,
later games
guys.
didn't offer as well since they were
Thanks a
able to
lot.
clamp down on your exploration. One of the reasons
Fucking
the combat in Dark
Fido.
Souls felt so satisfying though, and this is something that spans the entire series, is that general enemies take anywhere from about
I'm
2
gonna go
to
to the
5
other
hits to dispatch on average.
race.
On average. The difficulty of the game doesn't come from just artificial boosting of enemy health pools, but instead puts the onus of survival on
Another
your own
grace that
skill.
makes it.
Nothing in this game is outside of your ability to overcome it. However, the key thing though is that the game doesn't just make you improve on skill alone, you also have the means to improve your weapon quality and increase your levels, resulting in you outputting higher damage, requiring less inputs to take out enemies. Even just going from 4 hits to 3 hits feels massive over the course of these games, where a lot of other sword fighting games would diminish the experience by having you slowly chip away at enemy health bars. While I do love the combat of this game, it still feels quite dated compared to some of the later installments in the series. Boss fights, while grand in presentation, kind of fall flat, leaving much to be desired in terms of movesets. Outside of bosses, the game does throw a show of more frustrating level design mechanics, where gravity seems to kind of pick and choose when to kill you. And once you feel like you have your feet under you, the game will just throw like some rickety-ass bridge to throw you off your toe. Like, what the fuck was that for? And previously, if you had brought any of this up to players at the time, you'd be stonewalled with the automatic get good, which would often act as a deflection against any sincere and valid criticism. Although I will say, I do like the culture of just not allowing any excuses whatsoever, because there is still no shortage of people who
what's the
just play
criticism?
this game without getting better themselves. We've all been there. The
Because
reason
you
I
probably
bring
do
all
need to
this
get
up is that I
good.
recently convinced one of my good YouTube buddies to give Dark Souls 1 a try after he'd previously loved Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, and enjoyed Sekiro above all the others.
Damn, I'm gonna kill these dogs.
After I was watching him play for a bit, I started to
They're
get
gonna
that same
distract
feeling
me.
of like whenever you show your good friend that that really funny YouTube video, and it's been like 3
Damn,
minutes
they
and
do
they
a lot
haven't
of
left
that,
yet,
dude.
and
I
you
swear
can
to
start to
God.
feel your social credit being deducted. He absolutely hated the game, and I just kind of rolled my eyes and hit him with a couple of get goods because it's the same exact shit he said when he played Dark Souls 3 for the first time, and he ended up loving that. After all, the human brain will always try to rationalize and make excuses to justify emotions, regardless of accuracy. Except that he kept on hating the game, at least in terms of the other Souls games that he's played, and he started to bring up some valid criticism that I happen to agree with. Like some of the backtracking, enemy placements, the unfinished second half of the game, some of the level design and unfair bullshit that's anti-player, the RNG factor, the lack of thrilling boss fights, etc., etc. It's easy to find flaws within every single corner of this game. It's far from perfect. But there's one thing that stood out to me as a testament to this game's core design.
Dark Souls 2?
I still put it above so many others out there, despite its flaws. No matter how much he was bitching to me and bemoaning all the problems with the game, and making me feel like a dumbass for even recommending it to him, he kept coming back to it, and he eventually beat it. And you don't do that shit to games you don't enjoy. Or at least don't completely hate. I would like to talk far more about the actual mechanics of Dark Souls 1.
I did that with Battlefield.
Opening that can of worms when I talk about Dark Souls 2,
just to
which is going to be far
be
more
able to say I beat it.
I want to make that video.
Although I did use
If you want to kindle the channel and get recognized in the video, your support on Patreon means the world to me, and I appreciate every single dollar you throw my way. There's also some extra tutorials and behind the scenes of how I even make these videos in the first place, if that's something that interests you. In the meantime, I've got Twitter where I won't update you on anything that I'm doing, and I'll see you later.
Where you at, Anastasia?
Don't you dare go all
pop my bubble. These damn dogs, dude.
Ranking
so
every Souls game from worst to best. I was going to watch this. I saw this got recommended to me, and I was going to take a look at it.
Today I'm going to be ranking every single Souls game from worst to best in my own personal opinion and explaining why I like some games more than others. This list changes a lot for me, but here's what I think right now. Coming in at number 7, my least favorite game in the Souls series is Demon Souls. Interestingly enough, I also think it's the easiest game in the series.
To be fair, it's not even a question. Demon Souls is 100% the easiest game in the series.
I mean, you get some of the healing.
Like, it's a joke. There's no hard boss in Demon Souls except maybe Flame Lurker, and even that's pretty fucking easy.
I mean, the game's easy.
I do think that Demon Souls is better than Dark Souls 2, though. I absolutely think that. The reason why I think that is that it just plays way better. Like, I played, and I'm talking about the remake Demon Souls. I never played the original, but the remake Demon Souls plays incredibly well, and because of how fluid and well it plays, it just makes it a better game than Dark Souls 2 because of that alone.
Well, yeah. It's hard to be worse
remake since I don't have a PS3. Sorry, I was too busy pushing children out of my way at Walmart to get a PS5. I probably ruined like 3 kids' Christmases last year, but I got to play Demon Souls, so, you know, silver lining. Anyway, as much as I love this game and was surprised at how well the gameplay held up after all this time, I still think it comes in last place for me due to the bosses. And I've said this before, I don't think the bosses are bad in this game at all. I'm just not a huge fan of the gimmick puzzle bosses, and that describes 90% of the ones in Demon.
How long did S-Fan spend on this boss? It was like fucking, like 7 hours or something like that, right? Dragon God? Man, I remember that. That was a dark day. That was a dark fucking day. Yeah, hours, yep. I think that Demon Souls was fucking amazing.
Has he played the other Souls games?
Last time I mentioned that, a ton of people were like,
you'd rather just have a dodging simulator that's all just reaction time. It takes no skill at all.
Yeah, I think that there's a little bit of middle ground. All the Demon Souls bosses are incredibly easy, and I think that some of them are probably too easy, but overall, I mean, you've got to keep in mind, like, I played Demon Souls after I played Sekiro and Bloodborne, so a big surprise, it was easy to me.
Yeah, those games are much harder.
I really love the world in this game, though.
First, the game's gonna seem easy.
Excellent. It's just not as fleshed out for obvious reasons, and after playing the others, it definitely shows. Certain things like
that's definitely true.
The 525,600 upgrade mats get annoying, especially with the drop rates being ridiculously low for some. I grinded so much.
Wait a minute, I never saw this.
Pretty much just do New Game Plus now.
This is
the
me.
world tendency stuff is fun to mess around with sometimes, but most of the time I forget to.
The world tendency is stupid, and there's a reason why they never did it in any game following Demon Souls. It was dumb.
Skydive in the Nexus, leaving me wondering why I'm all of a sudden trash at the game. On top of everything else, the game is pretty short. It took me like 15 hours to beat it the first time through, and that was during finals week of my last semester of college, but, you know, priorities.
I would say so. I think the game is definitely, it's much shorter, it's a lot easier. I would say Demon Souls might be about as long as Dark Souls 1, not counting DLC. Maybe, but I don't know.
So yeah, I find myself coming back to this game more than some of the others, but I think it's because it feels less stressful than the others, and the world is really immersive to me. And to be fair, my rankings change pretty much every time I play these games again, so this is my current list after completing each game a few times. So yeah, Demon Souls is last in my mind as of right now, but like I said, it's almost entirely due to the bosses. Next up on my list is Dark Souls 1. I know, get your little hate comment finger.
Definitely, we're gonna get hate comments for this. I think Dark Souls 1 is it's like the second or third best game they've made.
You think you're doing, dude?
Considered it definitely is.
ready. If I was being objective, Dark Souls 1 would probably
Oh, yeah, there's another boss
on this list, but after my
not this guy, I mean,
really
in
just
another
didn't
cave.
enjoy it as much as the others. I think a lot of this is due to the
Well, here's the
slower
boss
pace
door.
of the game with the rolling and running and healing, but it ended up frustrating me more than anything after playing the other games. The combat in this game just never gave me the same rush as the other games, especially with the bosses. Once again, most of them just felt too... I would say that, okay, so Dark Souls 1 bosses, I think that the gameplay from the beginning of Dark Souls 1 up until you finish Anor Londo and you talk to the big titty girl and everything, you do Ornstein and Smoke. I think that gameplay, like that part of the game, is like the best gameplay experience any Dark Souls or Souls game has ever had. It is perfect.
Oh, shit.
After that, I will agree.
They came from the other side.
But from the beginning of the game,
I'm gonna run past them next time,
including Anor Londo, it is the best
when I want to fight the boss. I want to get all the items
up
first.
until the DLC where the slow rolls
Okay, buddy.
actually started bothering me because
really
they
shut
really
the fuck
stepped up the boss fights there. But even with my complaint, let's see, there are hard bosses in the base game. Like Bed of Chaos was really bad.
Plenty to go around.
It's a bad boss.
It's not really a boss. It's like an environmental obstacle. Bed of Chaos doesn't really qualify as a boss to me.
I think probably
it's just an environmental obstacle you gotta figure out.
Non-DLC. Actually, I would probably say Capra Demon is probably the hardest for like whenever you encounter the Capra Demon in the game. I can't deny how incredible the interconnectivity is in this game, and I think it would have been bumped up a few spots if it had continued through the second half of the game as well. There's also just a lot of downtime and running around, which can definitely be fun to a certain extent, but I think they executed that part better in the later games. The boss fights just felt slow, and fighting multiple enemies is such a pain in this game due to your speed, which makes it hard for me to enjoy it as much after playing the other games. I feel like every single game, it's always annoying to play any Souls game whenever you're fighting more than one target. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Sekiro, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, or Demon Souls.
Was pretty hard at first, but now
these games are not made to be fighting multiple targets, and it is annoying to do so. I think the story is really strong here, so it's a shame I don't really care about it at all.
Then you get good.
Well, it's a video game. I think this game is executed perfectly for the time and will always be known as one of the most iconic experiences in all of gaming, but in comparison to the rest of the series, it's going to rank second to that. Okay, so if I'm thinking... I think that this guy is basically ranking it off of like the actual gameplay and like the challenges that the game provides. So I think the next one's probably going to be Dark Souls 2, and then maybe Dark Souls 3 after that. And then actually it might be Bloodborne and then Dark Souls 3. He probably might rank Bloodborne a little bit lower, and then probably Sekiro and or Elden Ring, like Sekiro number 1, Elden Ring number 2, or vice versa. That's what I think he'll probably pick, but I don't know. Coming in at number 5, we actually have Bloodborne. No, I'm just kidding. Please hold your comments and questions and subscribe right now until the end. Number 5 is going to be Dark Souls 2. I almost put this one a little bit higher, but when I went back to play it, I just couldn't. Also, it's a bad game. Like, I don't know why so many people struggle with accepting this obvious fact that
it's better than a lot of other... It's better than a lot of other AAA.
It's a fundamentally bad game.
But it's not as good as the others.
The systems inside of the game are bad. The bosses are bad.
The concepts, some concepts
are bad. The world design is bad.
But
the mob placement is bad. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
The physics are bad.
These are all in order so far, but I have a feeling that'll change soon.
That was my biggest issue with
it. Higher for me because it was by far the most addicted I've ever been to a video game, and I genuinely have no idea.
Another goddamn
I played Dark Souls 1 and 3 first, and for some reason this game just got me. This one
Go slay Queen.
Finals week of my junior year in college, and within 3 days I had over 24 hours played in Dark Souls 2. Needless to say, that's 8 hours a day. Like, what is that supposed to be a big deal? Like, you
okay, buddy,
play a game for 8 hours a day? Like, what is this casual shit? to say I had to hit a couple professors up asking if they could round my D- to a B+, but that's why I'm figuring out. All that aside, I really just love the world in this game and the freedom.
Seems like you just need to get good
like
at
a different form of exploration from Dark Souls 1. It's almost hopeful in a sense. They kind of give you hints at things that will discover later on in the game, so it keeps you interested to find out what happens. But there are some really interesting things about Dark Souls 2, and if they
so this is where you get it. I never got this in my run.
Made it just a better game. Like, fix some of the annoying things
or did
about
I?
it. Like, for example, like really long boss run backs.
I can't use it as a level
fixing the weird thing where you lose health whenever you die. Fix hitboxes. I actually think the game would be great.
Yeah.
I don't think that the game has
He's right about Dark Souls 2.
Like, I think there's a way you can redeem it, but you would just have to do it from the ground up, I think.
Wait a minute. This is a different video. I thought it was the same video I was watching. It's called Ranking Every Souls Game from Worst to Best, including Elden Ring. So this just went to the next video. Okay. Yeah, I want to hear I want to hear more about what they say on Dark Souls 2. I'm rewinding it. I'll let them talk instead of talking over them.
For 8 hours a day? Like, the most addicted I've ever been to a video game, and I genuinely have no idea why. I played Dark Souls 1 and 3 first, and for some reason this game just got me. This one I actually started during the finals week of my junior year in college, and within 3 days I had over 24 hours played in Dark Souls 2.
And then 2.
That's 8 hours a day.
One more.
Is that supposed to be a big deal? Like, oh wow, you played a game for 8 hours a day? Like, what is this casual shit?
That's nothing to him.
I had to hit a couple
He's a
professors up asking if they could round my D-
played WoW all day.
But that's why I'm figuring out. All that aside, I really just love the world in this game and the freedom they give you. It feels like a different form of exploration from Dark Souls 1. It's almost hopeful in a sense. They kind of give you hints at things you'll discover later on in the game, so it keeps you interested to find out what happens. But there are some really interesting things about Dark Souls 2, and if they remade Dark Souls 2 and made it just a better game, like, fix some of the annoying things about it.
Yeah,
like, for example, like really long boss run backs, fixing the weird thing where you lose health whenever you die, fix hitboxes. I actually think the game would be great.
Fix the physics.
I don't think that the game has a... Like, I think there's a way you can redeem it, but you would just have to do it from the ground up, I think.
Oh yeah, I did get this before.
Rune is also the best hub in the series.
It's experimental
with the
weapon
best
from
music.
Volcano Manor, guys.
Does anyone even say that anymore? And I hate to say it, but I kind of like the quantity approach they did here to
I need 34
The only reason it ranks lower is because the controls still feel a bit clunky. The agility stat, I think having more bosses in the game was not a big deal. I don't think it's a problem in the same way that I don't think it was a problem that Elden Ring reused a lot of the bosses for, like, the cave bosses and stuff like that, right? So it's just like 2 or 3 normal mobs.
Yeah, I just fought that queen on another thing.
I think that's okay. It's not a big deal. Dumb and makes the first part of the game frustrating, and
there's still like an interesting looking boss.
It also has some of the, Dark Souls 2 gets easier the longer you play it, and the only exception to that is whenever you're in the DLC. The DLC in Dark Souls 2 is really good, and it's probably the best DLC out of any game except for maybe Bloodborne. But it's the best comparatively, I'll say that for sure, because Bloodborne was good besides the DLC also, but like Dark Souls 2 I think was bad besides the DLC. The DLC was in general good content.
The DLC wasn't really that great.
Most aggravating levels, enemies,
a lot of it was
bosses,
annoying, especially the frigid.
Oh, and also the fashion, weapon variety,
frigid valley
shit, like the bonfire aesthetics and fragrant branches of yore are absolutely beautiful. Moving on, doing a bunch of weird stuff is good. And number 4, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Once again, get those little typers ready because we're going with Elden Ring. I don't think I need to explain this one much more. Elden Ring is an incredible
Should be way
game.
higher.
I personally prefer a bit more direction in my games, specifically how FromSoft does it, because I think it makes for a more balanced experience. The open world was an awesome feature, and I'd love to see them do it again in the future, but I kind of prefer there being a little bit more structure for games.
The Graces tell you where to go.
Bosses were way
What are you
too
talking
easy
about?
for me, and it felt like a waste because if they were harder, it would have given me a lot more playtime. But then if I try to keep myself under level, the main bosses become way too challenging. It's just a balance I couldn't really find on my own, and it took away from a lot of my enjoyment in Elden Ring. Aside from that, though, the game feels great. The open world is super fun to explore. There is an absurd... I think that's kind of one of the good things about the game, like, in my opinion, is that if you run into a wall, you can just
go where you want.
Doing something else instead,
Yeah.
and exploring in
You don't
a
have to
different
have your
direction,
handheld
and you
every
can
time.
do that too. I think that's one of the better things about the game. I think also, like, that was probably one of the better and also worst things about the game, depending on what kind of player you were whenever the game actually came out. Is that I do think it would be probably a little bit better if there was a bit more direction leading up to what's his name, like Margit. Because, like, people probably just go directly to him, they get destroyed, and they quit the game. Like, that's not a very good gameplay loop. So, like, maybe if they did more to, like, encourage you to do other stuff before you fought him. But, again, that's kind of, like, what the nature of these games is.
You already have the option. How much more do you need?
That you can
you have to make the game more linear.
But, yeah, I disagree with this. I think that...
Which I don't agree with.
I think Elden Ring, especially in terms of gameplay, there are so many different ways you can play the game. Like magic works, using a bow and arrow works.
You're getting your head against Margit. There's other shit you can go
house dancing. I think there's just so many positive things to Elden Ring that you just can't even. It would take a long time for me to list them as like comparative advantages versus other games. Yeah, it's way better.
Amount of content that's worth way more than the price tag, and it's gotta be Game of the Year this year. The weapon and build variety is so much fun to mess around with as well, and I love all the little features they added to make the game more convenient.
But there are people that just simply do not like. They don't like open world games, and it is what it is.
The problem I had that I've touched on before is the bosses. It feels like they do too much damage to you but don't have enough health, as opposed to the other games where bosses do less damage to the player but have massive health pools. I'd rather have...
Is that true? Bosses have a lot of health.
No, only if you're using like a bleed build, they have little health.
I will say that the Melania fight, I didn't like the fact that it was so built around that one ability, the waterfowl.
Oh, the waterfowl, yeah.
Like where she like goes up in the air and like spins around. Because if you took that ability out, you would probably reduce the amount of wipes that every player has against this boss by like 70 or 80%. And I think it is kind of, what's the word for it? It's kind of like, it's gimmicky. Whenever there's just this really hard mechanic to do, but other than that, the boss isn't really that challenging. So I don't think Melania is that great of a boss because her difficulty is built completely around one mechanic.
More room for error, but a longer fight than a boss that will one-shot me instantly if I mess up. I could talk about the pros and cons of this game forever, but I think most FromSoft fans will see where I'm coming from here. I'm not taking anything away from Elden Ring at all, it's just a different type of game than the others. Coming in at number 5.
Definitely is, I would say so. As I said before, I think Elden Ring is my number one.
We have Dark Souls 3.
There's just too much going on in the
game. Keep in mind that it was my first Souls game ever.
So
have you seen
it would have to be my number
one. This one is extremely biased, being my first Souls game.
There's just so much going on
here. Abyss Watchers for the first time and getting that rush that makes these games so addicting.
Really? I thought, whenever I beat the Abyss Watchers, I thought I didn't even know the fight was over. Like, that shit was easy.
Yeah, if you got like a good, you get pretty busted by the time you get there.
Like, it's not a surprise that every single game mod basically uses Dark Souls 3, or this is until Elden Ring at least, used Dark Souls 3 as the foundation. Dark Souls 3 has the most things that you can do.
No, Elden Ring does, but still. Dark Souls 3 isn't a bad template. You just need to be able to jump though.
Is we good?
Okay. We're way away from where we want to be.
We good. Alright, good. So yeah, Dark Souls 3, I think, is probably the best out of all three of the Dark Souls games. I will say, however, that I prefer Dark Souls 1, but that's probably just because I played it a lot. And I just have like more nostalgia. I like the world interconnectedness of it. Dark Souls 3 has that, but to a much lesser extent. I think Dark Souls 1 is... I think Dark Souls 3 is a better game, but I like Dark Souls 1 more.
The movement in this game feels great, and I know a lot of people were pissed because the rolls were too fast, but I think they paired this with faster combat to offset the change. Also, don't be a boomer, embrace the change, come on. I will say, after completing all the Souls games, it's definitely one of the easiest, but some of the bosses still give me the most trouble of any game in the series.
I don't think so. I think that, honestly, Lorien, like the fucking two princes,
this is where I wanted to be.
Actually hard. I think that Manus isn't Dark Souls 1. I think that Gale is actually hard. I think that Nameless King is pretty hard. Like, I would say any of these bosses are harder than any boss in Dark Souls 1 or 2.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, like, Midir.
You just used to the games by that point, so they seem easy to you.
And DLC bosses feel perfectly balanced and give you that feeling of satisfaction that drives us all to say get good to the random kids struggling on the internet. I will say I think most of the levels are pretty unpleasant.
It's all in jest. It's not serious. I mean, it is kind of, but it's you know, it's an initiation ritual to say that to somebody.
To explore.
You know, get good. That's all. We could go fight this boss.
Small issue I have is how easy it is to R1 spam through most of the enemies.
I'm gonna kill this invader first.
Apparently, this guy watched my playthrough.
Huge problem or anything, but it definitely makes the game feel like a joke at times. But I still think this game has some of the best and worst enemies in the series, which made it a bit harder to rank for me. It has some of the highest highs and the lowest lows, but it's probably the game I've completed the most just because the bosses are...
I think that Wolnir isn't a bad boss fight. I don't think that boss fights are only hinged... Like, the quality of the boss fight is hinged on its difficulty. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They say, oh, this boss fight is bad because it's really easy. I don't think that's the case. There's a lot of boss fights that are easy, but they're awesome.
So damn good. This was the perfect way to end the trilogy, and it's my favorite of the 3 Dark Souls games. Before we get to number 2, just give me 10 seconds to show you something that'll make your life a lot better. If you want to get access to games and DLCs early, or watch shows you normally couldn't get access to, you can get Atlas VPN right now for only $1.99 per month. Use the link in the description and try it out now. The deal isn't going to last long. Thanks to Atlas VPN for sponsoring the video. Let's get on number 2.
Coming in at W for the fact that it's not that long of an ad. Okay, thank you.
And number 2, the runner-up is gonna be Bloodborne. I'm assuming most of you expected this to be number 1, but it has a few things that bump it.
Oh, for number 1. Okay, yeah, that's actually makes sense.
Has a number of things wrong with it. Number 1,
yeah,
the fact that it's fucking 30 FPS.
Yeah, it's stuck on a PlayStation. That's what's wrong with it.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
Can we get a release on PC, please?
Yeah, the FPS for the game.
That's the only Sony game I really care about coming to PC. I would have said Stellar Blade, but Stellar Blade isn't really a Sony game. It was going to be on PC before Sony snatched it up. It's a time exclusive anyway. It's going to come to PC anyway.
I think his name's like Parl.
But it would have been here already.
I think that boss was really bad because it was so dark. It was hard to see what he was doing.
I'll take you. Don't mind if I do.
Let's see, Elbridis, that's what it is. Elbridis,
oh, yeah.
That is actually, I think, one of the best bosses in all of the series.
The vagina monster with the macaroni.
Yeah, Ludwig, same thing. Amygdala is a horrible boss. It's probably one of the worst designed bosses that they've ever made.
Amygdala was terrible. They looked cool, and that's about it.
If I were to rank all the bosses, it would be probably the worst or one of the worst. It's horrible.
You have are some of the best in the series, and they never let go.
Yeah, exactly.
The setting and theme of this game is a big part of my love, and I think the way they designed the world is incredible. On top of that, the level design is amazing, and the way they connected the world was mind-blowing every time. I think everyone loves this game for its horror theme.
It's just like a PvP player in the fucking arena.
Let's be honest, it's basically a free $70 for all of us if they just remaster the game. One thing I didn't...
He's not... Like, literally all they have to do is just make a PC version of the game... Update the graphics.
I think it has the enchantment thing
give
too.
It more than 30
oh no! You can put enchantment. You can just, no, I had an enchantment on this knife on my other file.
Is making a Bloodborne remake? I hope they do, because honestly, I think the Demon Souls remake was fucking perfect.
Except for the aesthetics.
I played through Bloodborne tons of times, and I swear I still have to look something up at least once in every playthrough. And before
should have kept the art the same way.
I agree with this. I think Frenzy, for example, like the Frenzy mechanic in Bloodborne is absolutely horrible, and it makes the game worse. If you took Frenzy out of Bloodborne, the game would immediately be better.
I still have feelings. Actually, I'm kind of desensitized.
Are you talking about the thing where they just make
the other issues I have with this game are small things that I've touched on before, but things like the finite healing system, trying to farm for blood vials and bullets can be a pain if you use them up early.
I would argue, like, that's probably true. Like, having to have all the blood vials and using them all the time, yeah, that probably sucks.
Yeah, the blood vial farming in Bloodborne was terrible.
Off in the game. It would be better if, for example, you were only able to buy like 10 at a time, and then later on you unlock 20, the same as like you did in Dark Souls 1 with like the Estus class. Because it does really kind of suck whenever you first start off the game, and then you have to go farm like for a long period of time to get all the stuff back. You can just buy them. Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to buy them once you're farther in the game because they have a fixed cost.
Able to rest or travel from lamps is a pain as well, but that's
game's not letting me access my map.
The chalice dungeons are one aspect that most people seem to hate, but I actually don't mind. Sure, they can be a grind, but when you've played through the main game a dozen times already, it's kind of nice to have something optional to switch it up. But I think the core combat elements in this game and the rally system are what really make it great, and I'd love to see this return in a different style, like a western or a futuristic game
even other games are
in the future, or just Bloodborne 2. Anyway, moving on to the one that's going to piss everyone off the most because it's not even technically a Souls game. We have Sekiro. This went from my least favorite FromSoft game to my favorite in the span of about 6 months. It took me forever to get into this game because I kept trying to play it like a Souls game, but on my third...
Yeah, I had the same thing happen. I spent 8 hours on Lady Butterfly because I didn't parry her at all.
Yeah, you gotta do that in this game.
After I learned how the parry and deflect system worked, I killed her in like 3 tries.
Based.
Attempt at playing it through again, the combat finally clicked with Genichiro. The level design, the combat flow, and the bosses all make this game absolutely perfect for me.
He's gonna blow up. He's gonna fart dude already.
Fairly recently,
I just got here.
It's gonna stay
fart
like
already.
that for a while. A lot of people...
I would argue that Sekiro is a perfect game. There's almost nothing wrong with Sekiro. I'm trying to think what I really say is problematic about Sekiro. Like, I would also say that Elden Ring is a perfect game, too.
I love it. This game is so... Look at how fucking gnarly this boss looks.
Sekiro 2, Dark Souls 3,
it's doing way more shit than a lot of bosses from prior games, too. Even though it's overused, it's still fucking good. It's a good boss. It's just overused.
That's what I would rank them.
People dislike the lack of build variety and say it gives less replayability.
Like, this is way better than
Amidala fight that was talking about over and over without getting sick of it.
Or the shitty one Reborn. That boss sucked.
You compare this to Elden Ring or you compare it to Dark Souls 3, and in those games there's like 8 different ways to solve a problem.
We're killing the boss today. We killed an invader, now we're gonna kill a boss.
Maybe 2 or 3. I do think that obviously having the prosthetic items does make it more interesting and more unique, and you can do different things in Sekiro. It's not like you can't, but it's absolutely not as open-ended as
you gonna blow up again? You gonna have a fit? Yeah, you are.
That goes for it too, because that makes it to where obviously the challenges in the game.
Oh, they're doing it again.
It's much better balanced.
They cheated.
Because like when a lot of games, either the bosses at the end are super hard and the beginning ones are super easy, or vice versa. Like with Dark Souls 1, where all the beginning bosses are really hard.
They're not supposed to do it twice.
And then by the time that you get to the end of the game, it's like you're just, it's like cosmetic bosses. Yeah, and so having less build variety, I think actually made not only Sekiro, but also Bloodborne much better tuned and much better balanced.
Boss rush mode really solidified this choice for me as well, giving me the opportunity to fight bosses over and over and really master each one of them. The way I describe this game is the hardest to learn, but the easiest to master. And once you master it, it doesn't get boring, it just gets more satisfying. In the other Souls games, if something is too easy, it's just not that fun. In Sekiro, it still gives you that rewarding feeling for each boss because you know their moves so well. The only thing that makes me...
I do think that overall in Sekiro, like, if you know exactly the way the bosses work, you can have a better mastery of the game. And I would also say that watching somebody who's really, really good at Sekiro is probably more interesting than watching somebody who's really, really good at Dark Souls 3.
I can't see my fucking souls. The fucking map's
if
not
this game will stay at number 1 for me is the lack of content. The main game has tons of things to do, but I really wish they added a DLC or some extra prosthetics to grind for. I think the skills and prosthetic tools are good to give players that feeling of build variety because you can use each one to your advantage for specific bosses, but I would have loved at least some new weapons like a spear or some daggers. But I think this is the most consistent game in the series and it's the closest to perfect I've seen in a video game. Also, someone asked if I could do an outro for this video, and I said...
Okay.
I want to go spend these souls. There's just too many of them.
Okay, that's a good one.
Let's get you
very fucking
some
funny.
arrows. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that Elden Ring being number 4, I definitely disagree with this. I think that Elden Ring is better than Dark Souls 3.
It's way better than Dark Souls 2. I just gotta say, it's stupid they can say that
or you like Sekiro
they're on
Elden
the same level.
The gameplay of those games is so much different than like a traditional Souls Elden Ring type game that it makes sense to me that you would like that. But I think personally, like, I know that it's become like this like popular hipster thing.
It's just hipster crap.
Elden Ring because it's super popular.
Very Reddit.
Yeah, I think Elden Ring is the best game they've ever made.
You say, oh yeah, it's barely better than Dark Souls 2.
That's all there is to it. It is the best game, all things considered. I think
very
the combat in
contrary
Sekiro is probably more precise and a little bit better than Elden Ring, but I think that everything else considered, Elden Ring is overall a better game. Yeah, I think everything is worse than Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3. I mean, I definitely don't think so. Yeah, no fucking shot. Zero utility in ranking them against each other because you can play them all. Well, I think it's just people talking about the advantages and disadvantages of each game. I think that makes sense, but I would absolutely say that, like, for what it is, Sekiro and Elden Ring are perfect games.
Damn it!
I don't think that Bloodborne is a perfect game. I don't think that Dark Souls 3 is a perfect game. And I think that because of that, I don't think that it makes sense to rank either one of those as number 1. The only exception is like maybe you can rank Dark Souls 1 as a perfect game based off of like the narrative and world building, but that's something that's a lot different.
We're just
from
ranking
the game itself.
We're not saying which is perfect.
So ranking these games is too personal, to be honest. Yeah. And I hate Elden Ring because I suck and I don't understand the game and I never give it a second chance. Yeah, that's probably the way that most people that don't like Elden Ring feel.
Yeah.
That's about right.
That's right.
Like about Bloodborne, Sekiro,
I mean, you just suck. That's why you hate it.
Let's see.
At least you're honest.
Things that I like better about Bloodborne. I like the visceral attack thing. I think it's cool being able to use the gun.
But that's in every game,
that's a
though.
cool gimmick, for sure.
You can do a visceral attack, or they just rename it.
There you go.
But it's the same shit.
Elden Ring to a Souls player, it's so easy to overlevel. I mean...
what?
You're not going to overlevel Millennia, okay? Like, you're not going to overlevel a lot of the endgame bosses.
You can overlevel in all the games. What are you talking? Except for Sekiro. That's the only game where it's hard to overlevel because there's no real leveling system.
And I think also,
that's just a stupid comment.
Souls games, it's really easy to overlevel everything.
Yeah, it is.
Like, there was not a single Souls game that I played.
He's just doing his fire
spam. My chat was not spamming overlevel. That's a fact. Yeah, it's Bloodborne with shields and being passive altogether. Yeah, that's actually a good point. It definitely does. Elden Ring late game is not perfect, especially the Hail Tree. Enemy placement is bad. Also,
the Hail Tree was
at the end,
not bad.
Thick and fast. Let's see. The Hail Tree. Yeah, there's like that one where you have to fight all those ants at the same time. That is really annoying. There's a few other things with that.
Do you have to?
Yeah, I don't know.
You really have to, dude.
Leveling in Sekiro. Yeah, and that's again, Sekiro is the best balanced game. I'll go ahead and I'll link this video. That way you guys can take a look at it. I'll read some of the comments too. And I'll actually play just a little bit of Elden Ring, because then I'm going to have dinner with my dad, okay? Sekiro is amazing. The game shocked me. Quality, story, everything's from software game. Might as well be my favorite game of all time. Really glad to see the love it deserves. There you go. Giving Sekiro the love it's due feels the most lively out of all the From Software games. Yeah, I think that ranking Sekiro above Elden Ring is understandable. I can understand why somebody would do that, and I can even understand why somebody would rank Bloodborne above Elden Ring, but I think there is no argument that I've heard that tells me that Elden Ring is better than any of the Dark Souls games, and it's is not better than all of the Dark Souls games and also Demon Souls.
It's just those games, just bigger. It has everything from all of those Souls games. Everything from the Souls games is in this game. With extra shit like a horse and jumping. Okay. Why did I get off of this?
I embarrassed myself.
I don't know what this video is.
That will not happen again today. That will not happen again today.
She's playing a game, I guess.
Okay, let's get to her. That's a very good intro for this. Say what?
Yeah, sure. That's right. All right. Let's go.
He was playing Dark Souls. I guess the first one.
Where we left off.
Sounds like the first game.
The combat, I should be ready to go. 3 flat with the 10 subs. Thank you very much, man. I fucking appreciate that. Your video is 800, okay? Good. That's a good start. Let's go.
It's a classic one,
these items right over here.
He's playing Dark Souls.
I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna kill these guys real quick. Come here. Let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna
Get off my ass.
Yeah, link the video in chat, somebody. Let's go.
Oh my god, dude. It's the fire. The fire is just getting me.
I'm AFK, dude.
I guess he's really playing it.
Change your section. That was a mistake, dude. That was a really stupid mistake. I double attacked.
Let me check this. What are they doing? It sounds like Dark Souls.
Alright, that's one down. Good. I made a fuck up, boys. That's the way it goes.
Okay. Hey, he's playing Dark Souls 1.
He's a big dick.
This is from like 2019 or something. That was from 5 years ago, yeah, 2019. That's when he played Dark Souls. He's in Anarlanda. And then, yeah, this is before he fights Ornstein and Smo. Yeah, he hasn't fought them yet. Okay. Well, I'm not going to have this up. That's a different Souls game. Oh, the world record Dark Souls run. He freaked out at that. Who's Matthew O'Keefe? Am I subscribed to them? They're playing Dark Souls for the first time, I guess, and they're live right now. Girl has an identity crisis. That I was. What? Video dating. Oh, another one. That's a newer one. I never saw that one. There's a movie called Catfish, an MTV movie. Looks really old. That is a smartphone, so I guess it's not that old.
Ranking every...
Oh, worst Elden Ring hot takes. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to it.
The worst Elden Ring hot takes. Let's find out about this.
It's always a great feeling when something you adore is getting the attention and love you believe it deserves.
Precisely.
For me, that's been
this game is perfect.
The community around this game has been nothing short of spectacular.
It's better than a lot of people.
People are making art, made-less memes that get upwards of 10,000 likes on Twitter and Reddit. The subreddit itself has over 1 million subscribers now in such a short span of time. And I just people loving all the community creations and videos.
That Reddit is, I browse it. That's one of the rare Reddits I will look at.
And engaging with Elden Ring have been having the time of our lives.
It's a good time.
And the reason I bring that up is because... well, there's a lot of hot takes from people who are super jealous of that.
I am 100%
yeah, like the developers of Horizon.
That Elden Ring
that fucking game.
My dick.
So you know this video is going to be good, but their opinions can't ruin something as
fuck I no.
Elden Ring. So instead, a lot of these people just kind of flail about making incoherent rants in the vain hope that Miyazaki will add an easy mode at some point. That's right. We're going to be looking at the
hottest Elden Ring takes in town.
Okay, let's hear this blast and take a swig every time I show you something stupid. I'm about to poison myself with a variety of different hot sauces. Now, you might be saying, man, that's kind of
I mean, let's find the one on easy mode. This isn't the series. If you want that, go play the games and offer that.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Sponsor of today's video.
That's what I feel like saying.
There are all sorts of things.
I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing if they put it in, but why do you even want to play this game?
Just awesome hot sauce I got. Oh my god. Package from Bespoke. Every month they bring in new packages so you can get a grab bag.
I'd rather they just focus on
and some
one
whiskey,
cohesive game
you can preview
instead of
the
these
live
variations.
Choose to keep it, swap
That's
it
just
for
me.
another, or
And
skip
it's so
the ones
easy to
at no
level up.
cost. Every box has a $70 retail value, but only costs $49.
Okay. A Donkey Kong barrel.
What more do you need? Summon fucking
spooks.
How easy do you want it to be?
Preferences and answers to
I'm beating the game in
hot sauce and coffee
level 1.
I always thought that the
All you need to do is level up. Just slightly. It's easy. The game's
I think they're actually pretty cool. I do. I thought about ordering them and doing them on stream, but I feel like it would be like loot boxes. Yeah, worthless shit. Yeah, I think that they're a cool idea. I thought they were kind of scummy. Really? I don't know. I think they're cool.
So many more. So what are you waiting for? Order your own box of goodies from
Just doing a commercial.
And if you use the code X20, I'll get you 20% off your first box. Thank you, Bespoke, for sponsoring this video.
Now completely different.
Only $5.
I knew that was happening.
Probably the hot takes that bought the most were what these three devs said about Elden Ring. And these people were from Guerrilla Games, Ubisoft, and Xanax Software. The fact that Elden scored a 97 Metacritic is proof that reviewers give a flaming whoop about game user experience. My life is a lie. No PC graphics, no performance apparently, no quest design really. Now what these people are really saying is I'm jealous of From Software's success because it overshadows my own.
True.
And questioning my career and design choices. Hey genius, maybe somebody's just better at making video games than you. Maybe there's thousands of people better at making videos than me. Let's just be happy for them. Why is it so hard? Comparison is the thief of joy. And wait, your reviewer?
I think it's also like it's worse than that because they're trying to rationalize why people aren't looking at them the same way. Because it's one thing if you're trying to just, I'm mad because other people are doing it better than me, right? But they're trying to tear other people down and figure out reasons why it's bad. I think that's what it is. Just trying to bring you down. Yeah, exactly.
Don't care about PC graphics? Have we been playing the same game?
Yeah. Nobody cares about graphics.
The game looks good on my system.
Also stands for user experience, and isn't a review about the user's experience with the game? No! I mean, isn't Ant-Man hurt himself in his confusion.
1 second.
These developer tweets are way out of left field because most devs on Twitter celebrate each other's success. Luckily, the memes that came out of this were just...
Well, I think the reason why people weren't celebrating, the reason why developers felt the need to defend themselves, they don't want to celebrate the Japanese games. Most of the people talking about why Elden Ring was so good is because it was better than their game.
Oh yeah, that as well.
This Elden Ring is good because it's not like what you're doing. So of course they took that personally. And by the way,
it's not a movie game either.
Right. Players don't give a fuck about graphics, and here, let me fucking prove it to you. Give me a second. People do not give a fuck about graphics because graphics are irrelevant in a good game.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Look at Vampire Survivors. Look at CSGO.
Yeah.
Look at Minecraft. You think people care about graphics? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this does not have the best graphics, but the art design is on point. Look at all this hellscape going on here.
Pure gold. Allow me to play you a brief...
Look at all this, dude. There's way more interesting shit going on here than, say, fucking Last of Us.
Oh, God, it's all memes.
Last of Us looks boring by comparison.
About foot soldiers.
I don't care how realistic the people look at it. It's a boring game. It looks boring, I gotta say.
Oh my god.
I want to make it clear, it's okay to dislike a video game that I like. It's okay to enjoy
it's not. It's not okay. I think you should be thrown in jail if you don't like the games that I like. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If you don't like the movies that I like, you should be thrown in the gulag.
Alright? I'm returning this
You either be thrown in a stockade.
Terrible.
You can tell someone's angry when they're just like shaking the fucking game case in the video.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the video.
Oh, what the fuck? Why did I jump off?
This is it. This is the video. It's going to be a quick upload.
So let's summarize this guy's very brief experience with Elden Ring and
might get the other one.
reasons why he
Fuck
thinks
it.
it's trash.
We're getting the other
Coming
one.
off the heels
Stop playing around.
My
I can
Elden Ring
stagger it
sucks
easier
video
with this.
because the game does suck. It's a terrible example of game design.
Elden Ring is bad because it doesn't follow.
Elden Ring is bad because it sucks. Well,
Yeah.
why does it suck? Because it's bad.
Uh-huh.
Duh.
Circular logic.
What the fuck did you expect? Yeah, obviously. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's bad, guy.
Game design principles. And no, I won't elaborate on what I think those are.
My man.
That's up to your imagination, not
Oh,
mine.
they're just bad. They're bad at the game. They're mad because bad. That's all that is.
So I get to that guy with the mask.
Oh, I'm using the wrong fucking thing. That's the
So
problem.
you were right.
Oh my god. To be fair, I think that going to a site of
Oh, you
grace
son of a bitch.
should maybe reset if certain NPCs are hostile towards you. I think maybe that would be fair. Maybe that would be an improvement. But it's not a big deal. By the way, you accidentally attack. Don't you have to do this like 3 times? There's absolution for that? Yeah, but people don't know that, right? It's like it just restart. Yeah, I mean, he's already spent 6 minutes in the game, guys. He can't restart now. He's locked in. So this is what happened. I do think that, like, to a degree. And
Did he hit the guy who called him
I do
tomatoes?
think that having these pitfalls in games
He must have hit the guy who
does
called him
not do the
tomatoes.
game any favors.
That's funny,
I
actually.
don't think so. I really don't think
He
so.
took it
I
personally,
think that there's
being
a
called
very
it
fine
himself.
line between something being challenging and punishing. And I don't think that having pitfalls like this make the game better. But it is funny.
It's funny, yeah.
It is absolutely fucking funny.
Just run away from it. You're in an open field.
Immediately attack the first non-hostile NPC. So you must have ignored the talk button at the bottom of the screen when you walked up.
And hit him more than once.
Non-threatening pose and lack of wielding
This is all
any
fault.
kind of weapon.
Oh, I didn't pick it up.
To be fair, I did hit one of the NPCs accidentally once too.
Good.
Respawn.
Probably deserved it.
You didn't attack him on accident because he takes at least 3 hits to trigger aggro, and I tested this. He even...
You just didn't like that he called you betamus. We know.
Oh,
We know. We get it, man.
Like, isn't that just sad?
Sad.
Wow.
Couldn't handle it.
The gravity of this.
Couldn't handle that he had more race than you.
Bro,
It's all right.
You ignored his dialogue. He's straight up like, "Are you sure you want to continue attacking me?" "Yes, you do. All right, gonna have to teach you a lesson."
Respawn. Finally get away.
And he bled you to death.
Thing, horse, minotaur looking thing. Kills him one hit. All right.
Yeah.
Respawn. Right in front of the guy who kills me.
Killed Var killed him.
I would pay so much money to watch that playthrough. Oh my god, I would watch.
Where is it?
I want to see that. So
Where's the
much.
playthrough? I'll watch it.
Wow, that would be so fucking funny, man. That would be hilarious.
I'll watch that at work.
So you die to this guy a few more
That sounds
times before
hilarious.
figuring out
If
how
I
to
find
run
it,
away. And then you run straight towards the giant fuck-off golden knight on a horse. And you're surprised that he's hostile.
I like he's doing a recreation.
I can't believe it. He hit me.
Tell me.
The big golden knight with lightning and a big sword hit me.
Without knowing
Can't
how
believe
to
it.
run. I've never seen someone invalidate their own.
Like what he did, he probably didn't even go through the tutorial. He ran right into the game, he started attacking the first guy he saw.
It was a tutorial
the guy was
came.
hostile, and he lost. That's what happened. Like 100%. That's what happened.
Fuck, dude.
Opinions as a game critic so effortlessly. So we can
He's
assume that
kicking
he
ass.
ignored everything in the tutorial because the tutorial teaches you how to lock on.
Yeah, like the Cuphead
You couldn't even Google
reviewer.
this. Like, no, there's supposed to be a
Gaming
lock-on
journalist.
system. Consult
couldn't get
Dr.
over the-
Google.
It's supposed to be a lock-on system, but my guy decides to just start swinging wild.
I can't jump and dash at the same time. That's hard. I never played a game
The guy
before.
moves and I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you gotta do this. Oh,
Press in on the right stick. Don't attack that guy. Sneak past the big horse.
And knowing is half the battle.
Like, homie, you can't just ignore literally everything the game is trying to tell you and then blame the game. Like, how does a guy who has hundreds of games on his shelves not understand the concept of a non-hostile NPC?
These games are not enjoyable. Yes, I get there are people out there that like it, and this game is not a 10 out of 10. Nowhere near, even if it ends wild things.
True, like, make a new guy. Guys have been more than 10 minutes in. Make a new guy and just don't attack him. But no,
I would love to watch a playthrough of some of these people. Like,
but you can run away from
the game is bad.
Just run away from it.
See how
well, he doesn't have torrent yet.
Because as I said, I do think that
you can still run away from
it. You know, like having pitfalls that early into the game where you can make mistakes and irreversibly fuck your character. Or set yourself back. I think that that's probably not good, right? But that's the way they make these games. They do. They make these games this way, and that's part of the appeal to them. So it's like, well, it's like, I think this is not ideal, but this is the way these games are made.
I think it's ideal. It's great. It's fine.
Right there. Like,
it's penalties.
Posting a
it's good if your game has penalties.
Killing a single enemy in a Souls game, or learning how to lock on. Yes, this is it. This is his review of the game.
This is one of the most wretched things in terms of
what the hell happened? You bug out?
You must have been sitting there just like, why did that guy I stabbed start swinging back? Could you imagine inviting this guy over to play Smash
the nerve.
And he's like, why are you attacking me? It's a fighting game.
Oh my god, dude. I don't know his tail.
Peace and resistance to cap off this video.
This is not a good game. It is not a 10 out of 10.
It's a mean game.
I can't wait for Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Really, guy?
Bro, I'm so tired of this shit.
I can't wait for Gran Turismo.
I cannot. I am so tired of this shit, bro.
It's probably sponsored by some car company.
These critics rated an 87, but the users rated a 1.9.
Oh,
I
really?
am so tired of this. Like, if all of the critics are rating it an 87 and users are rating it an 8.9, who the fuck is listening to the critics? Because obviously the critics have no impact on the way that people look at the game, because if they did, it wouldn't be a 1.9. And it's obvious that they don't understand the way people think, because it's a 1.9 and they're an 8.7. How the fuck does this work? It's crazy, man. Like, I just...
Dude, stay still.
Like, I really
need to be able to hit you, motherfucker.
Never listen to anybody's review of a game.
He's getting way more aggressive.
At least a 30-minute video. Like, if you watch a review of a game and the review video is 6 minutes, it's a shit review. It's a shit review. Like, go and, like, it's fixed now, that's good. For sure. But, like, watch the whole fucking
We're switching
thing.
back.
Donkey?
And next up on the Elden Ring Clown Show is a rabbit hole I can't be bothered to go into.
Donkey, though.
Apparently this guy Quantum TV made an Elden Ring review that he later deleted. People saw it was filled with terrible takes and made fun of it, like you do on the internet. Yeah. One of these videos happened to be from a 17-year-old British guy named Mischief, and his response video triggered Quantum TV so far off the edge that he threatened to copyright strike a minor in a different country for criticizing him. This also led to a bunch of other YouTubers picking up the story, which led to questioning him.
Thank God. Well, hey, probably by his own definitions, he created a better story than Elden Ring. How about that? That's great. Take this video down and remake it with all the stolen footage without my likeness in your thumbnail. I own the sole copyright to Quantum TV brand and all of its imagery assets. Failure to remove stolen content will result in a takedown. I've already formally filed against you, but don't want to copyright strike you. I just want my assets removed. I don't mind criticism, just don't go stealing my videos from my channel. What a pussy. What a fucking pussy. Oh my god.
This also led to a bunch of other YouTubers picking up the story, which led to Quantum making more videos and justifying his insane...
There we go. It's like it's not enough. You've got to get in there and let them know, bro. You've got to win. You've got to win. You've got to get in there and fight it out, man. It's like you're just making it worse and worse and worse.
takes that you're about to see, it's like a rabbit hole we don't even want to go down. But I want to give a shout out to Mischief. His link will be in the description. Go check him out and subscribe. Pretty good content for his age, I gotta say. But it's real scary if you're a small content creator and you're just being threatened with copyright strikes. It's such like
a mischief. I mean, to be fair, 17 years old. You know what I was doing for content? 17 years old. We would ring people's doorbells and then run away and then record it, their reactions. And I also would go in the backyard and blow up tater tots with fireworks. Ding dong ditch, yep, there it is. And
ding dong dick.
At 17, well, I was doing that really more like 15 or so. But like, you know, we did the same. At 17, yeah, we did that more like 15. But it's close enough.
Really, my dog's
in work to do, so give that guy some support, alright?
Today I'll be giving you guys a review of Elden Ring. Essentially, don't buy this game. The name of the game should not be called Elden Ring. The name of the game should be called You Die. Again and again.
Exactly.
Suppose if you never get good,
yes,
then yeah, you'll keep dying.
Because that's all you're really going to spend most of your time doing. You're going to die because the game has no easy difficulty. There's the difficulty when you get to certain.
Again, I mean, I've heard worse takes on the game. I'm going to skip ahead. Is this all about Quantum? Yeah. This is all about Quantum, half of this fucking thing. They're still talking about him, so I'm getting off of here. The whole Quantum thing was just got out of hand. And then you got some weird people from 4chan involved, and it's a bad scene all around. I don't care for it. We're not gonna watch that one. I thought he was going to show more than just Quantum, but the whole video is about him. Alright. He played Hades 2, but I don't want to be spoiled on Hades 2, so I'm not going to watch that. When did Warcraft become boring? It always looked boring to me. The only thing I liked about Warcraft was the South Park episode.
Warcraft equals
and I played an MMO. I played multiple. It's just Warcraft never looked good to me.
Uh-oh. Warcraft used to be better when it was just Warcraft equals boring.
Yeah.
Warcraft used to be better when it was just a bunch of dudes fighting each other and having to deal with mysterious crap while they fought each other. Humans, dwarves, ogres, orcs, and trolls all have that vibe where they have to punch someone in the face, and it was awesome. Then you look at the lore now. Yeah. I don't really care about this soap opera between a dozen or so characters. WoW was never deep. Stop trying to make it be. It was just a bunch of dudes trying to survive a cold world where there's war every time, and it was awesome. Then there's the people who are terminally online who can't separate reality from fiction, who had to ruin the fun. They had nothing going on in their lives, so they tried to better the virtual world made for entertainment to reflect their worldviews. Warcraft equals boring in today's society, and I don't see it coming back.
I don't know. I don't even know the serious
who have to just force their worldview through everyone's throats. You know what I think?
Got me.
I think he's completely fucking right. I think he's totally fucking right. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of people that think it's boring. Maybe not for the same reason, though.
I think it's boring, but I've never played it.
There's too many furry races. Like Tauren are kind of furries, but they're not as much because they're in Warcraft.
It's a furry game, man. Deal with it. You're a furry now.
Since it was fine. And,
you gotta admit to yourself, you're playing a furry game now. Asmon.
Those are furries. Volpira are furries. Drakthir are scalies. Like, it's just too many, man. I want to look at all the definitely sane responses that definitely didn't mass flag the dissenting opinion. Never mind
He's playing a Looney Tunes.
Dude is 100% right, though. The gameplay's still good, but what does that matter whenever it's not Warcraft anymore? It's not. It's fucking cringe. And I'm sorry. Like, I know that there's people that like the story nowadays. Well, guess what? You're wrong. It used to be good. If you go and you watch the YouTube video that Platinum WoW did about how Tyrion Forgery left the Knights of the Silver Hand, and you compare the raw, unbridled masculinity of that to this pussyfooting around with Anduin, who's getting in his feelings because he got mind controlled. Holy fuck, man! It's so lame. It's just, it's so lame. Oh, here we go. We found it. Oh, thank God. Well, it's always been deep. You seem to have never read any lore at all, like 80% of the player base. No, this is the problem. Is
some of the novels?
The lore was satisfying whenever you didn't have any information about it. It was just cool on the surface level.
It's good when it's subtle and mysterious.
Whenever Illidan broke out of the prison,
this is what I liked about Warframe when it was starting out. Then they started explaining everything, and it made me uninterested. And because some of the explanations were unsatisfying.
You don't need to understand why we had to defeat Illidan. You don't.
Like what the Warframes were became very unsatisfying, which they never revealed at this point.
And says, "Follow me into the abyss." And then the next fucking patch comes out, and you're fighting Kill Jaden on a spaceship.
But it never did it.
You didn't need to know a goddamn thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's deep, yeah, for sure. But
so
like, at the end of the day, it's fucking badass. Yeah, Giga Channel, yeah, it was. It was so fucking cool. Yeah, and then after that, it got even better. So, like the Velen and Kill Jaden cinematic was so good if you knew what the lore was for it. But if you didn't know what the lore was for it, and then that part of the cinematic is over, and you look up in the sky, and there's a gigantic green, disintegrating planet right above you, and somebody's like, what the fuck happened? And Illidan says, sometimes the hand of fate must be forced, and you're going to the fucking other planet in the next patch. It's like, holy shit, we are cooking. We don't need to know a goddamn thing. Look up at the sky. It's right there. There's Argos. And you're gonna go there. It was insane.
That's kind of cool.
Just dudes being dudes, yes. And
dudes being dudes. Brothers being brothers.
None of it mattered. You didn't need to know that for it to be fulfilling. It was just fucking cool.
Goddamn poor.
Last retail expansion I really enjoyed was Legion. Now, so making things cool, badass masculine is giving out wars considered toxic and needs to be subverted. Yeah, I know. It's so cringe. Let me read some more posts like this.
Huh?
These back in my granddad days threads are getting even older. I know. That's right. Back in my day, like classic.
He's staggered. He's staggered, and I'm not nowhere near him.
Like the Van Cleef
son of a bitch
is better than the story for Dragonflight.
Oh my god! I should have got on my horse. I need to get on my horse when that happens.
And everybody knows it. Like it's not, and also it's not even close, right? It's not even close. It's not even like, oh well, yeah, the Dragonflight was okay.
How is he still moving if I stagger him, dude? You shouldn't be able to move.
Well, died with Arthas? No.
Away from me and then stagger. That's what the fuck is that?
Sexual harassment lawsuit, because I feel like that made them too gun shy from doing anything. That
oh yeah, Blizzard got
of the old WoW.
A bunch of sexual harassment charges.
I think that's what happened.
Like Ubisoft.
Like they got rid of all the people that made the game, and for good reason, by the way. And also they now the game has to be a representation for the fact that they've changed. And I think that's cringe.
It's compensating.
Because it wasn't me that was doing that stuff at the office. Why is my content worse now? Because people
the players weren't doing that shit.
That's not my problem.
It's the fucking
it's like in school where it's like
executives or whatever.
Stay late 5 minutes because one person couldn't stop talking. Holy shit! Alrighty then, see, I guess.
It's like the military.
Next, not Warcraft.
Where's my fucking soul?
Remove Warcraft long ago. Now all hug and love. Disgusting. I know. Return to old Horde versus Alliance. This guy is a fucking idiot. An absolute fucking moron. He can't even spell Alliance the right way. But even he knows. Even he remembers the way it used to be. But he's right, though. He is. He's still right.
Okay, I'm going to teleport back.
English, but he knows. You grew
I just wanted to get that.
You changed? No. Let me just stop this right here. I didn't change. If I go right now and I watch this, it is just as good
Where are my souls?
as it was the day it came out. It's not complicated.
Yeah, there's some old shit I watch, and it's still good.
I don't like this idea that like you changed.
It's not about you changed.
I didn't.
I hate that argument.
Everything
It's lazy.
else changed around me, and I never gave
No,
consent
quality has
for
just
this.
gotten worse. That's just a fact. Quality and all throughout
nobody
media
gives a
has gotten
shit.
worse.
Yeah, that's the reason why
They don't do shit the way that they used to.
Only the gameplay.
There should be some, quality control going on. It's not. It doesn't happen
It's
anymore.
still good. It still makes
It's
you
all
feel
very
good.
corporate and sterilized now.
Oh, it's
Very
it's cool to
soulless.
me. Man. I don't think anybody can really understand. Like, this came out at the same time that like Lord of the Rings was out.
The sands of time.
Kinda-ish.
Look at this.
I mean, Lord of the Rings was before this, to be honest. But I guess he's talking about the last Lord of the Rings.
I don't think that I can put into words how groundbreaking this was for the time.
On the winds.
Seeing something like this at this point
His
in like
Return of the King, I guess, was out by this point.
non-existent.
Use a hoe. Use a big old hoe. God damn it.
It's just a bunch of guys going and killing each other. Look at that.
This dude keeps moving, man. I'm trying to hit you.
Yep. That's right. Yep.
You gonna blow up again? I'm gonna wait. He probably gonna do it
The
again.
graphics for this were just
He
completely
does that shit.
like it was unbelievable.
He got me.
Like I remember seeing this and I said, "What the fuck?"
This motherfucker just likes cheating now. Like I was kicking his ass when I first got to him. Now he's just doing everything to let me not hit him. He's squirming all over the place, and I have
The
a
crazy thing is, it kept
clean
getting better.
shot.
Like if you thought this was good, the fucking Frozen Throne one was just crazy.
Heroes arise to challenge.
Bro, there it is. You see this? This is all we want. You see this? This is it right here. You stop right here. This is all we need. The sword, yep. This was awesome. I didn't change. We did.
Where are my souls? Like that.
Lead their brethren to battle.
Yep. Yep.
As mortal armies rush blindly towards their doom.
I'm staying on my horse. This guy is cheating too much.
Thrall. Look at Thrall, by the way. He looks like a fucking man.
Is he not a
Look at
man?
that. That's a brute, man. He beat the fuck out of people. Like, not that bald, weird, cringe, skinny shit that they had in capitalism. Man.
Hit the motherfucker, dude. What the fuck's this? How fucking on his ass do I need to be to hit him?
Medivh,
You're gonna blow up? Yeah, you are. You're gonna fart. Get it out of your system. Doing it again? Okay. You're snapping. Stop squirming, dude. Let me fucking hit you.
Oh my god.
I'm so tired of this damn boss. And the cheating all of the bosses are doing.
It's like, why did Thrall become the war chief of the Horde? He had a vision that came to him in a dream. That he was to unite the races and go to Azeroth.
Unite the racist? No.
That's the reason.
No, I think he said racist.
You know what he did? He united the Horde. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. There's a reason why me and Zach played on Thrall server back in the day. That's so epic, it was. It's like, and this is the thing. Look,
Bro.
How can this be? Our spectral powers have returned?
This is not the Titan's magic.
I thought to survive, we needed to reclaim our but they were never ours to take.
Oh, God. Coming together as a family.
What you gonna do, buddy?
Oh.
Buddy?
It was about coming together as a family.
It's about family. It's like it's Fast and the Furious. Because when you're here, you're family.
Bro, what is this? What's this shit, bro? Like,
stop throwing a fit, bitch. I need to get up because he's gonna squirm now.
Shit, like what's going on?
When he blows up, he starts squirming like that. It's so damn annoying.
Man, I just...
Do your dumb shit. We want to see it. You done? Yeah, you're blowing up again. You gotta.
I don't even know what to say.
Get on your horse for this motherfucker. Stupid shit he be doing.
If they had Thrall unite the Horde today, he would say that line.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And you know what Thrall, like, you know, like,
time to cheat now. We're gonna
Thrall
cheat.
was like next to Karen Bloodhoof, and they just looked at each other, and that was
Karen,
enough.
huh?
Because everybody knew what that meant. You didn't need a bunch of extra bullshit like men. Yeah, world of femboys, man. Look at this. Holy
damn.
shit. Oh, like compare this.
And he plays Star Rail. So really that different?
Where is it? Look, bro, that's the difference.
Oh my god. Just a little bit of it touching you kills you. What the fuck?
God damn, man. From man to femboy, like, like that just really says it. Fucking lame.
I'm gonna fuck off to another boss. Fuck this guy. I'll lose all those souls. I don't care.
I don't even know what to say about it, man. Show the Warcraft 3 back there.
We're gonna go back and fight him.
You know which one I want to show y'all even better than this?
I'm gonna get a drink too.
Oh.
Bitch ass boss.
This people don't even understand. Where's the good part of it?
He's watching a bunch of World of Warcraft cinematics in the background. A lot of those were really good. I've seen some. I guess they don't do that anymore. They just have a bunch of weak shit, I guess, is what he's indicating. What a baby. Listen to him cry. A little old baby. Get good, okay?
Marius.
Why you gotta cry?
Give me the stone, and all is forgiven.
Wait, let me see what they're looking at. Is it even on the same video
Give
anymore?
it to me, Marius.
Maybe it isn't. It's probably went to another video.
Take it.
No, it's the same video. Okay. He's watching it. Yeah, these cinematics are really good.
You haven't failed, old man. You've done exactly as you were meant to do. However,
let's go get some ice.
The Archangel Tyrael.
Okay.
You have done well.
The voice acting is
Now I think you should have your reward.
pretty vibrant.
How else could I explain them? Were these the demons from my dream, or were they born within the water?
Diablo has some good cutscenes too. At least at the BlizzCon.
Fucking idiot.
I was taking a sip. Right? Wow, this is incense.
He goes, what the fuck was in that pipe?
I roll. What the hell?
And like, that's the kind of subtlety that they just can't do anymore. Modern games can't do anymore.
Yeah, there's no subtlety in anything in media anymore.
They can't do that. They've got to make it a weed joke.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it was 420 already?
They gotta be very tactless and explicit with anything they're trying to convey.
They just have to
them.
show it, and it's there.
This is what happens when you have a bunch of ADHD millennials and Zoomers running your media now. They're creating media now. They have no restraint or tact
Everything
at
is
all.
on fire. This dude randomly walks
They don't get
out.
it. They don't get subtlety.
I don't know. What do things happen as they do in dreams?
Listen to that again. Think about how fucking good this is.
Why did I follow him? I don't know. What do things happen as they do in dreams?
Who's a bitch?
All I know is that
That's it. That's it.
Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? What is this shit, dude? Where's my stamina at?
And bro, like, what's so sad is like that first 15 minutes of the Diablo
I might put on
4
that
story
Turtles talisman.
was this good. And then it went,
It deflated.
no, it wasn't. I thought it was great. I did, I thought it was great.
We'll take a drink right quick.
into the east.
Oh my god, bro. Here.
Oh yeah, it's a big old cup of green tea. That will keep me awake for this fight. I gotta kill them tonight. They gotta go.
I'm not that person anymore.
I have no right.
Bitch.
Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
Where is this?
Oh shit.
No,
Okay.
this one's kind of okay.
at dodging it, at least. Oh shit.
This was pretty cool, right? It lasts for like 10 seconds.
Nah, you bitch. Oh my god. What? Yeah, we're doing better on that thing, though. We're learning how to dodge. He's just watching all of this. He's just in silence of how good the old cinematics were, I guess. He's not saying anything. It had nice music, I guess. I can hear it. He's feeling very euphoric now after watching those. It's kind of sobering, I guess, compared to the shit we get today.
It's not even close.
Oh, really? He's not staggered? Why are you not staggering, guy? What's that about? You got something you want to tell me? What the fuck are you doing? You should stagger.
Listen to how cool that sounds. Let me just go back. We're going to listen to it again.
Oh, yeah, okay. At the top. Oh, man, he did it right when I was tricking. God damn you. You son of a bitch. You did it twice. You usually do it twice. You're doing it again. You son of a... Good thing I know how to dodge it. That's at least something.
A lot of people think that
you're doing it again, dude. Why is he doing it?
Like confusing a story is, the better it is. That's not the way it works.
Well, they disagree, I guess. I don't know. I didn't hear what he said, to be honest. He said that's not how it works, though. That's all I heard. Oh, shit. Little fuckling. I'm getting impatient. Need to be more patient. I have no idea what's going on in that video. This sounds like some epic shit, though. He's just stunned and amazed. He's not saying anything.
Now, my young brother, the time has come to assume your
first time seeing the reaction cinematics was so cool. They really did a great job with this.
Shouldn't have done that. I keep forgetting.
They did a great job with it.
I just need to poke.
And like, look at that dude. Masculine as fuck. Like, there's no femboy shit going on. Like, he's not looking cute or anything. Yeah, bro, this dude is jacked.
I guess that's how they look now. I don't know. I don't play this fucking game. They look like femboys now, I guess.
Look at that, bro. Like, oh man, bro. Like,
you're tripping, dude.
I just hope that some of these people, I hope they understand. Like, I want them to go back and watch the old cinematics. And I want them to see during... Yeah.
Fucking up the timing.
And that's the thing, right? Is like, everybody gonna go and make fun of this, joking around about this shit, but nope. It was real. And it was there, and it was amazing. It was fucking insane. The Diablo 4 cinematics are also great. They're okay.
Yeah, the Diablo 4 cinematic was
better than some of the Diablo 3 ones.
I mean, it was professionally animated, at least. Not really a lot of what was going on in it was good, but the animation was good.
Not in a good way. Real shit, bro. Real shit. Real shit. Somebody's saying the post on, yeah, real shit. Like, there it is. Was transform the game, a world where everybody is whining and putting flowers in their hair. And the next up, all of us will start to plant flowers and trees because the new name of the game will be Peacecraft, and all the bad characters will come and say sorry for what they've done. I'm so glad I'm not the only one, bro. Like, I'm so glad that everybody else is seeing this shit, bro. Like, I'm so vindicated right now. Like, I knew this shit was happening, man. And like, I was saying this shit was happening for a while. Nobody wanted to listen until it was too late with that Dragonflight shit, man. Oh. The last real, like, villain that WoW had was Denathrius. And, like, that was so good. And then it just decided to make it shit after that. Denathrius fight, so yeah, he was great. He was amazing. I loved him. I thought he was perfect. And then he was also a side villain. Yeah, he was. Starfang cinematics were great. Yeah, Starfang was alright.
This guy's making me mad.
Furry Simulator.
Oh man, I might delete this one. I'm not making any progress tonight.
Furry fucking bro, I'm so fucking sick of this shit.
No furries.
Oh man, like, we need Dark WoW expansion as soon as possible. Like, I just...
If you didn't leave at the Pandaria, I don't know what to tell you, guy.
Any Garrosh cinematic.
You committed to the furry shit.
Any Garrosh cinematic was nuts, man. It was so hard. It's actually sad. It is. It's sad. You think it's a Chinese psyop to make Western men gay?
That's stupid. Okay, this is the stupid schizo shit. Why would the China even give a fuck? That's dumb, dude. You're dumb.
Oh my God.
No. U.S. has its own psyops. They don't need China to do it.
Oh my
You don't need China as an excuse. U.S. already hates their own citizens, okay? If you want to float that stupid idea.
I'll be right back. I take this. Like,
don't need China.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah.
Like, people need to just take responsibility for what their own country,
a lot of people,
you know, the problems of their own country instead of scapegoating other countries. It's pathetic.
This is a very popular opinion, and I hope that more people keep talking.
Especially in the West.
Because I'm gonna be real, like,
the exceptionalist attitude is just really cringy. annoying and it's not solving any
another
problems.
guy has come in and has started trying to play retail WoW. Day 9, very well known for esports. I think this guy's been around longer than I have.
I can't believe that he actually read that comment. You should have not even read that moron's comment.
Insane. Okay, half you saying yes, half of you saying no. Perfect. This is the path from the tutorial.
Uh-huh. Is this the same video?
So I got to the end of the tutorial.
This is a different video, I think.
So let me make sure.
Yeah, it's on a different video. I guess he just ended it with that guy's dumbass comment. Yeah, it's China, guy. Everything is China. They're trying to make you gay. Where have you even seen this idea from China? Why would it be China? What's the mastermind plan for why they would do this? What's the agenda? What's the goal? You're treating China like the Borg now. Oh. Okay. This is what happens when you don't educate people on other countries. Just they believe any sort of cartoon shit. When you lie about other countries all their life, then they're just gonna imagine the worst, stupidest schizo shit that coming out of that country. I know better because, I go outside of what the U.S. is saying and actually do research about other countries. But people in the West tend to like to lie about certain countries. So they'll believe any crazy shit that's said about a country. Shit like that. Okay, what else can I listen to? I'm going to go until 3 o'clock. It's almost 3 now, actually. Got like 10 more minutes. Ranking every fast food French fry. It's a Moist Critical video. This is right up my alley. I don't really eat much fast food, but it's funny to hear about. They got some Sonics in that little thumbnail and some Popeyes. Popeye's fries are okay. The Cajun seasoning. Better than Sonic's for sure.
Hey, 3-4 years ago, we did a fries tier list and only did 7 restaurants. It's pretty shameful, so babies. Yeah, we weren't men back then, but now
they have a PDQs where they are, and I've never eaten there. Seems to be strictly a East Coast thing. But I do have In-N-Out. They don't have In-N-Out.
Because we don't have them here.
Yeah, you have PDQ.
Thought about making French fries, we have.
I have In-N-Out here.
Recipe and then some, like tater tots from Sonic.
And cheese curds, which
are they have tater tots at Sonic's, not fries.
But they're like
I don't like tater tots as much as fries.
So let's start with the easiest one.
Like tater tots just seem like
the Mickey D's.
Like
everyone knows how
just
So
lesser hash browns. I'd rather just have a hash brown,
not as salty as they used
not a
to be.
Yeah, and I
tater tot.
if I like it more or less. I kind of flip flop.
I wish there was one called. Which actually, the last time I said that, I got fucking roasted in it. It's like highest sodium item in the world. If you want more salt on it, they're lacking salt.
They're quite bland.
I have a weird idea, and I've never done this before. Normally our reviews off the cuff, they're dumb as shit, no basis behind it.
Right.
What if today
we introduce science?
Yes.
Okay.
We
Oh,
think
really?
through it. Everybody's had McDonald's fries. They know this. So what if we set this as our C tier? That's the average middle of the road. So you know if we say something's
Okay,
S, it's
yeah,
above,
set McDonald's there.
yeah,
That's
like,
fine.
What if this is our...
Well, I was going to give it a C regardless.
I was too.
Before this whole spiel.
Okay, well,
I'm okay with that.
Read the spiel and just give it a C. That's a C. Let's go to the polar opposite of Burger King. Yeah, which we've been more impressed with fries as of late. I have been more impressed with.
Are they better now? I haven't eaten at Burger King in years. Not since that nasty Halloween burger I had.
Creepiness that didn't used to be there. Yeah, today's not one of those days that really not. And like they're hot, so it's not like they were sitting too long. Yeah.
You need to calm the fuck down, sir.
This one looks like it's got a little salt.
Smashing that hammer a little bit too hard there.
Is there like a salt shortage, perhaps? Maybe they saw that we started to like them, and they were like, wait, we can't handle business. Go back to the old form. Yeah, they're really bland again.
Why did I do that?
I'm going to go B. That's below McDonald's. So
what are they eating?
Yeah. But I think they have... Sometimes they have the potential on any given Sunday to be a B. They do.
Any given Sunday. I remember that movie.
Shake Shack. Shake Shack.
Not really, because I forgot what it was about. I
Life.
remember
Had
watching
it
it.
once in New York. Did you like it? Well, I was in New York, so no shot. Hated it. And then you got all those poop vets getting stuff on.
New York has shit food. I gotta say.
Well, I mean, these kind of look like this.
I said it.
If you think about it. Good. Cheers.
Overrated. I said it. New York food is overrated.
These sound
Tastes like shit.
Yeah, they're a little cold. Not bad though.
Their bagels are shit too. Everything there is shit.
A little saltier. I like it. You know what it tastes like? French fries. Yes, but specifically the old frozen French fries that you get at Publix in the bags.
Oh, you're shooting blanks, sir. That's not where I am.
Yeah, that is exactly.
Not supposed to be shooting over there. You're kind of drunk, I guess.
Man, if only somebody suggested we got those for this video. Aaron, you never have good ideas. Think that.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck?
Change your opinion? Or like go to somewhere else for a better French fry time. Am I right? Fucking god, I'm like, I will say I think I enjoy these right now. Either the same or a little more than McDonald's. I'm at the same.
Cheater.
I think on my list they'd be a C in front of McDonald's. Yeah, for me they'd share a square, so they'd both be C on equal footing. Balanced as all things should be. Yeah,
okay, Thanos.
I agree. I think they may bump up to a B with some heat. Alright, let's jump into Wendy's. I don't remember ever having Wendy's fries.
Wendy's fries are mid.
Wendy is my mother's name. Whoa! Crazy.
I ate at Wendy's not long ago. Their burgers are better. Fries are mid.
Still bland. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not really much flavor in Wendy's fries.
I don't really listen to that side of the table, I just react. I hear like
okay, buddy.
The fucking Charlie Brown and then I start talking. And then somehow I always have the same opinion as me. Weird. Actually, yeah, I hear B, and I go B.
Yeah.
I think they're still a little better than McDonald's, but only because they're a bit fatter. They got more girth.
I guess, yeah. Get more potato in there. There's probably more real potato in there than a McDonald's fry for sure. McDonald's fry has some weird mutant shit in it.
Some salt.
It's not real potato.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Some weird GMO concoction. Some Frankenstein thing. Like the McNuggets.
Not salting is things like Checkers because they have so much seasoning already, but these are just like straight lazy potatoes. I think Checkers, we're not there yet, but Checkers and I think Popeyes are the ones that go a little above.
Yeah, Popeyes certainly goes above those fries. There's flavor in those. There's more potato in them too. Real potatoes. Not that weird processed crap. Or not as processed, if anything.
These are the Cajun fries.
Oh my god. They didn't let me drink in time?
No, not like spicy. Oh. So this is the crazy thing.
What a mother... I'm gonna go fight Renan. Fuck this.
That is unreal. These are fries to get. These are good. They're good. Yeah, so I've never had the Cajun fries.
Yeah, the Cajun fries are good.
Like seasoning out the ass.
They're up there with the Five Guys fries. Almost. I think I like the Five Guys fries better. Those are more real potato than even the Popeyes.
I actually know exactly what seasoning they use. Creole.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Now how we say it.
Creole. Yeah,
No.
that's how you say Creole.
Okay. I like Creole though. I like Creole a lot more personally. look at these. So they do peanut oil. They're, I think,
that's what the Five Guys does. I think they use peanut oil as well.
Stuff, and then they put good
The
seasoning.
first osmosis seasoning I read about.
That's really good. I think that gets an S for me.
That's an S for me too.
Yeah. I agree with that score. They do have taste buds in this one. They usually don't have the right taste buds at all.
Get all the Creole off your fingers. Once again, this is enough to feed a family of 10. That's so many fries.
Yeah, they give you a lot of fries at Popeyes, and especially at Five Guys. I don't know. They might have like related. They might have relatives who own both of those places, and that's why that's the case.
Because these are really good fries. They're still good, but they pale in comparison. I guess the only reason you wouldn't get these, or wouldn't get those and get these, is if you have like hypertension and don't want to die. Maybe that's true. Or if you're stupid. Or if you don't. Yeah. Still good fries. I give it an A. I'm going A as well. But I do. The distance between these two is more than A to S. It's just I can't go above S. Yeah. Great job, guys. You've done it again.
Oh, it's Five Guys. They're doing Five Guys right after the Popeyes. Yeah, they're expensive more than usual.
They did not give us enough fries for $20. Well, that's actually outrageous.
Really? Five Guys usually gives you more fries. Is they better for that price? Have they been skipping?
It fucking never happened. Unbelievable. I watch his speeches. Remember that one where he said,
oh my god. The camera cannot focus on this elevator.
But that's including delivery. Is that delivery? Each? Wow! That's so ridiculous. That is crazy. How do people live in today's America? Dropping both of these?
They can't. That's why you got a lot of people shoplifting, which is what I was talking about on my stream yesterday.
Crazy price. Actually, slap me instead of charging me those rates. Yeah, at that point,
you guys are millionaires. You can afford it. Even they're complaining now.
Who manages the local Five Guys. He's super nice. He'd probably be okay with a few smooches. Well, yeah, for that price, he better be.
You better show me a good time for that price.
Let's do
shit.
Oh, crinkle cut. That. Can you tell me how much Church's was? Because that's a
Church's fries weren't really good. They like have generic fries that you can get at a cafeteria.
Yeah, it is kind of sticky. It's like very, like the grease on this one's playful. Like it's really like it wants to stick around and have fun. No. Oh wow, they're shocking me. Well, I still would say need a little salt. No, it's kind of good.
Oh my god, dude.
They might make these like right
impossible.
The chicken, so some of the chicken fat and grease just like gets into it.
Do they just want me to fight them on the horse?
You're honestly not wrong. Or maybe they use lard.
Maybe they do.
Surprisingly good. $6.49. And that's a big old box. That is a big old box. I paid $6.49 and I'm happy with this.
Do we really think $6.50 is okay for a bunch of fries?
That's a lot of fries.
How many?
But think about like how much a McDonald's cheeseburger is.
Oh, my game's crashing.
The leaping quality of $3.
That's a sign that I should end it. Well, we made no progress today, but I guess I'll keep it up. We'll try again maybe tomorrow.
Almost 30.
We're gonna keep trying until I get somewhere. I'm gonna try to stream every day.
30. Calm down, man. Let's see our friend.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock anyway, so I'm gonna end it. Anyway, I hope you all have a good night if you want to see this crap.
Yeah, they are still in that ballpark. I give it a cheer, but I'm going.
It'll be all right for me. It's my background noise for tomorrow. Take care, though.